Welcome to the beautiful Sultan Ibrahim Stadium here in Iskandar Putri for an international club friendly fixture between recently crowned Malaysia Cup champions Johor Darul Takzim and Bundesliga giants Borussia Dortmund. This is the second time both sides have faced each other in a friendly, with the last occasion being in 2015 when Dortmund ran out 5-1 victors on that particular night. That fixture, in fact, was held at JDT's old hunting ground, the Larkin Stadium. And since then, JDT have actually grown by leaps and bounds. They've won the AFC Cup, secured 9 straight Liga Super titles, and they're now considered a perennial fixture in the AFC Cup, or rather the AFC Champions League stage. And the best part of it all, they've got this world-class brand new venue, the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium, obviously regarded as a pride for Johor fans here. Bergson Da Silva, who's been in fiery form for the Southern Tigers this season, 46 goals in all competitions, a ridiculous stat. He's broken a number of records as well, that has cemented himself as one of the greatest goal scorers in the history of the Malaysian Super League, and more importantly, the greatest goal scorer in the short history of Johor Darul Takzim. You've got Borussia Dortmund, who arrived in Asia over a week ago, and I think since then they've played one particular fixture. They have a 7-2 win over Lion City Sailors at the Jalan Besar Stadium on the 24th of November. And right after tonight's match against Johor Darul Takzim, they will travel to Hanoi to face Vietnam's national team on the 30th of December. Some really big names. You just see Mats Hummels. This is their arrival at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium. Bear in mind that a vast majority of these players would have had professional experience playing week in, week out at some of the best and most sophisticated football venues across Germany and Europe. But I'm pretty sure this will be a major new experience in this part of the world. Mats Hummels was part of that side that played against JDT in 2015 at the Larkin Stadium, which was pretty decent to its own standard. But coming here to the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium must feel like a completely new experience for Mats Hummels. And they'll be expecting to sort of find a bit of momentum in this off-season. I think 11 of their first-team players are away at the World Cup at the moment. They sit 6th in the Bundesliga. Edin Terzic will be looking to use this Asia tour to sort of get a closer look at some of the players, or rather some of the young players that are looking to break into the first team. This is what the BVB Asia tour looks like. As mentioned, 7-2 win over Lion City Sailors a couple of days ago, and then today they play Johor Darul Takzim. 2 days from now they take on the Vietnamese national team before they return to Germany to resume preparations for the resumal of the Bundesliga season. The atmosphere here at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium is already building up, and to get a better picture of it, we've got Farah Nair right by the pitch to give us a feel of what's it like at the moment.
Thank you very much, Keish. Now, I love how you say a better picture from the pitch side, but I feel like wherever you are up there in the commentary box, you probably have a better view to how much the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium right now is filling up. The atmosphere is absolutely electrifying. We're coming close to kickoff in just maybe in about 20-25 minutes or so, but the atmosphere has been electrifying, as I've mentioned previously. Now, I came about 3-4 hours earlier, and I wouldn't want to say that I was surprised, but I was slightly surprised because it was pouring incredibly badly at that point of time, and I was so surprised to see the fans coming out in numbers. The Boys of Straits were already there. They were decked out in their jerseys, in their scarves, and they were singing and chanting at the top of their lungs. So I wasn't surprised to see how much the Sultan Ibrahim is filling up right now. And when the Borussia Dortmund boys were coming out into the stadium and they walked out to do the inspection of the pitch, and when they had their little warm-up earlier, the crowd were completely on their feet. They were so incredibly excited, but let it be known that they weren't as excited as when their own players, the JDT boys themselves, came out on the pitch. So you know what? I'm excited. I know you are excited, and I feel like everyone in this stadium is excited as well. I cannot wait for kickoff. But right now, Kish, it's back to you.
I think it's absolutely incredible how everyone has turned up in numbers here. Bear in mind, this is just a few days after a lot of them would have made the long trip over to KL for the Malaysia Cup final. But right now, they're all packed into here at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium. And since this fixture is all about the fans, we've got to hear what they think ahead of tonight's game.
Saya rasa JDT akan teruskan momentum kemenangan seperti tim Malaysia Cup. Momentum kemenangan itu mesti diteruskan. Itu saja. Berapa skor? Dapat 2-0 ataupun 1-0 pun dah memadai bagi saya. Sebab Borussia Dortmund satu kelab yang besar.
Kita macam mana yang kita tahu, Dortmund kan salah satu kelab Eropah. So merupakan salah satu kelab yang besar lah. So sebab tu hari ni kita ada friendly dengan JDT, so kita datang, kita turun support JDT.
Apa perasaan abang bila dapat tahu dia orang nak datang Johor ni?
Excited bang. Of course excited.
Expectation bang untuk game malam ni?
Macam mana pun kita tetap sokong JDT, JDT akan menang.
Sebenarnya draw 2-2.
2-2. Siapa skor?
Untuk Johor Borussia dengan Borussia lah.
Untuk Dortmund?
Dortmund I'm not sure lah.
Okey bang, terima kasih bang.
Dortmund menang lah, macam biasa macam dulu pun Dortmund menang kan. So,
Kenal tak player Dortmund?
dulu kenal, sekarang tak kenal lah.
Ada fikir skor berapa rasanya?
Dulu berapa? So 6 kan? Rasanya 6-1 lah bagilah.
Okey, terima kasih. Sejak bila minyak Dortmund ni?
Sejak baru ni lah.
Sejak baru ni. Macam mana?
Nak mak JDT.
Okey,
Bagilah fight sikit.
expectation game hari ni?
Gula lah.
Gula. Asal-asal skor apa?
2-0.
2-0. Siapa skor?
Tak tahu lah. Dortmund.
Dortmund skor?
Ya.
Tak tahu siapa? Okey, clear. Terima kasih.
You can see how a vast majority of them are predicting Dortmund wins, but there's a couple of fans there that think JDT could spring a surprise tonight, which is not exactly a surprise really, given how dominant they've been in the entirety of 2022 as a football campaign, because their achievements this year has been absolutely ridiculous. I think saying domination would be an understatement when we talk about JDT's domestic season. For the first time ever, they secured a domestic quadruple. I think early in the season, there was that victory over Kuala Lumpur in the Charity Shield, and then they went on to comfortably win the Liga Super as well without losing a single game. And then they outclassed Terengganu in the FA Cup final, when many expected Terengganu to sort of have a strong say in that particular fixture. What you're seeing at the moment is that iconic Charity Shield match in which JDT buried the demons of the Malaysia Cup loss from last year. And then this one is a reflection of their dominant Liga Super campaign, when the likes of Arif Aiman, Bergson da Silva, Fernando Forestieri, every single one of them was absolutely electric up front, scoring bags of goals and just completely spearheading JDT towards an iconic success in the Liga Super. And then there was the FA Cup as well, when they went up against Terengganu in the final and they got that amazing victory. And eventually there was the Malaysia Cup final. This one, they fell 1-0 at first, but then there was a comeback victory, JDT clinching their 4th trophy of the season, completing a historic quadruple. And the best part, they've not lost a single game in all domestic competitions this year. I think at this point, it's probably fair to try and get an idea of who Hector Bidoglio is going to be including in his starting 11 for today, because that has been the main question mark for a lot of the fans as to who is going to play in the starting 11, given that this is just 2 days after that Malaysia Cup win where players on the pitch gave their absolute all. And bear in mind that today's squad not just includes JDT1, it also features a lot of the players from JDT2 who are part of an incredibly successful campaign as well. The likes of Levi Madinda is on the bench. Musa Sidebe is part of the squad as well. At some point we'll be expected to get a glimpse of them, but all eyes will be on this boy, Arif Aiman, who's been absolutely electric. 2021's MVP of the Liga Super season. Many expect him to be winning the same award at the end of this year when the National Football Awards takes place. Levi Madinda, Guillaume Di Paula, a lot of experienced figures. Then you have Corbin Ong, an ever-present fixture at left back for JDT. Here is the starting 11 though. And it's actually a pretty mixed and a pretty strong starting 11. From Hector Bidoglo, you've got Farizal Marlias in goal, Lavia Corbin Ong at left wing back. He's gone for 3 at the back, I suspect. Sharul Saad, Jordi Ahmad, Feroz capable of playing in there. Afiq Fazail, Hong Wan and Nazmi Faiz will sit in midfield. But then you've got Arif Aiman, you've got Shafiq Ahmad who will work his socks off, and Berkson Da Silva, who scored 46 goals in all competitions for JDT this year. On the bench as well, there's some really experienced names. Khalid Murga, Daniel Ting, Junior Elstal, Moses Sidibe is an exciting player. There's Shafiq Rahim, Ramadan Saifullah. But for now, we want to go back to the side of the pitch with Farah, because she might have a better understanding of what exactly are JDT trying to do in this game.
Thank you very much, Kish. Again, I love how you said, you know, I'll get a better idea to what JDT were trying to do. And honestly, I was a little surprised because I think plenty of us were expecting maybe a little, I wouldn't want to say weaker side coming out here, but they did just play a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, in fact, on Saturday in that Malaysia Cup final. So we were expecting more of the big players to be rested, but that is clearly not the case here today, because that up front with Berkson and Shafiq, incredible firepower up front for JDT here. So the fans can clearly expect a fiery match up here going up against the giants, the Bundesliga giants of Borussia Dortmund. So I don't know about you, Kish, but I'm so excited for this one and I cannot wait for kickoff.
I think anyone who sees Berkson and Arif Aiman up front is instantly filled with excitement. For now, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this to talk about Borussia Dortmund's lineup.
It's that champion mentality. Joe Flezzo, Big Snoop Dogg. We stay winning. Shout outs to the boss. JDT. Let's go. Blood, sweat, pride, and tears. Now you chillin' with some pioneers. These the weeks, months, and years, and we still be pioneers. End of the day, kings of the game. Your royal highness. LBC and JDT. You chillin' with the pioneers.
Intensity's not a perfume. Actions speak louder than coaches. No matter what you assume, I'm prepared for whatever approaches. I am a champion, pioneer for the future ahead. I'm with the Pantheon, better roll with a winner instead. The revolution's never steady rooted, but the goal at the end with a toast. Vision without execution is just a hallucination at the most. I'm in it like JDT, SNOOP, about to kick it on fresh grass. Remember that no one is interested in your story till you win and go double the bag. Grab all of those wins, don't forget those losses, cause they make those wins feel better when talking. Neck game so gross, foot game so ghost. Live from the West Coast, my verse so cold that you gotta run it back, hit it like Instagram and post.
Blood, sweat, pride, and tears. Now you chillin' with some pioneers. Days the weeks, months, and years, and we still be pioneers. 1, 2. End of the day, kings of the game. Your royal highness. LBC and JDT. You chillin' with the pioneers. Ready for this? Let's go. My mind is a weapon. Time is money. I ain't wasting a dime on a second. Camouflage on, can see me in the trenches. Cameras on, see me through the lenses. We playing in the vortex. I don't know what you saying, type with the bold text. Annihilating the fences. Pull up 6-wheelers, yes in the Benzes. Real talk, but they still get offended. Tireless, only strive for perfection. Dialed in and you see the connection. Fireworks when we making that entrance. Gladiators in the Coliseum. Ain't no chains, only sagas here. Every day we say carpe diem. They pay days, our per diems. Big Snoop, tell them how it is. Blood, sweat, pride, and tears. Now you chillin' with some pioneers. Days the weeks, months the years, and we still be pioneers. End of the day, kings of the game, your royal highness. LBC, the JDT, you chillin' with the pioneers. Blood, sweat, pride, and tears. Now you chillin' with some pioneers. Days the weeks, months the years, and we still be pioneers. End of the day, kings of the game, your royal highness. LBC, the JDT, you chillin' with the pioneers. Joe Home, pearl of the South, home of the Southern Tigers. Aha! Big Snoop Dogg, JDT, shout out to TMJ.
Welcome back to the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium for the international club-friendly fixture between Johor Takzim and Borussia Dortmund. Whilst it may be slightly unfair to compare JDT and Dortmund in terms of quality, in terms of the difficulty of their respective domestic campaigns, JDT's dominance is not exactly reflected in Dortmund's recent form. They've actually had a relatively mixed start to the Bundesliga season so far. They're in the middle of a really rough season, sitting 6th at the moment, despite making a number of big transfer moves in the summer. The general expectation was that this could be the year that Dortmund finally race ahead as fast as possible, but 6 defeats in 15 games leaves them 9 points behind leaders Bayern Munich at this point. But this trip, this Asia tour, is sort of seen as an opportunity for Edin Terzic to keep his squad fit and at the same time observe some of the younger players who could possibly be fast-tracked into the first team to try and have an impact as soon as the Bundesliga season resumes after the World Cup. So it's going to be really fascinating to see how he chooses to play tonight on the pitch at Terzic, and also in terms of the substitutions he makes, the players that he affords a bit more time. And here is the Dortmund's starting 11 for today. Again, Mats Hummels is the name that everyone has their eyes on. He did not feature against Lion City Sailors a couple of days back, but today he starts and he has the captain's armband. He's alongside Soumaila Koulibaly at the heart of that Dortmund defense. You've got Jayden Braaf, a highly rated winger who joined Dortmund from Manchester City. Emre Can, former Liverpool player, a former Juventus player as well, at the heart of that Dortmund midfield. Up front, Daniel Malen, who was brilliant against Lion City Sailors, missed out on the Netherlands squad to the World Cup. He'll be accompanied by, if I'm not mistaken, Justin Jinma up front. So it's an incredibly exciting Borussia Dortmund team, and there's some real exciting names on the bench as well. Salih Özkan, Felix Paslak, these are all regular fixtures in Dortmund's first team in their Bundesliga season. So it's a really exciting a moment for Borussia Dortmund. As you can see, Carsten Kremer alongside the JDT staff as well for a bit of a photo opportunity over there. But we're going to go back to pitch side alongside with Farah to try and get an understanding of what is Edin Terzic's game plan for tonight.
I'll tell you what, Kish, the Malaysian fans here, the JDT fans here, are extremely lucky because, like you said, the fans in Singapore, when they were playing against the Lion City Sailors, they didn't get a chance of seeing Mats Hummels playing on the pitch. But here tonight, we will be seeing Mats Hummels, and that, I'm not surprised at all, the biggest name on the pitch along with Emre Can, and that's what everyone is looking forward to. Now, I feel like we are going to get, like I said earlier, with the JDT lineup that we were speaking about earlier, this is going to be an incredible battle on the pitch. Both incredibly strong sides, especially with those two up forward, Daniel Malen and Jinma as well. Like you said, just to reiterate the point that you made, they have also got on the score sheet against the Lion City Sailors. So honestly, I am so incredibly excited. Kickoff is not too long away. And yeah, I feel like we can expect a blockbuster of a clash on the pitch here at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium right here.
I think that's absolutely well put by Farah. We're going to go for another quick break because right after this, we are edging closer towards kickoff here at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium. A very warm welcome and good evening to the beautiful Sultan Ibrahim Stadium here in Iskandar Putri for an international club friendly fixture between Johor Darul Takzim and Bundesliga giants Borussia Dortmund. This is just a couple of days after Johor Darul Takzim lifted the Malaysia Cup by beating Selangor in the final at the Bukit Jalil Stadium, completing a historic first ever domestic quadruple, given that they also won the Charity Shield, the Liga Super title, as well as the Piala FA title. And they're up against Borussia Dortmund as part of Dortmund's Asia tour. This is their second fixture, having beaten Lion City Sailors 7-2 earlier this week. And right after JDT's game tonight, they'll be traveling to Vietnam for a game against the national team of Vietnam. That's on the 30th of November. But as for today, I'm not alone. I'm alongside expert pundit, former Singapore international as well, Roshan Rai. Roshan, welcome. First and foremost, just how exciting is this to finally have a rematch of a fixture that took place in 2015? And bear in mind, that was when things were very much different for JDT. The stadium was definitely different. The performances were different. The quality was different. And almost 7 years later, they're back facing each other in different circumstances.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think for Dortmund as well, when they sort of signed that agreement with JDT back then in 2015, I'm not sure if they would have expected to be coming here all those years later and seeing the development of this great club and the work that's been done at JDT, thanks to TNJ, all the staff here, all the players that have come in as well. The infrastructure, the thinking behind it, you know, it's not just about producing on the pitch, it's about building the club sort of around it, creating that environment to try and create top players and trying to get top performances and trying to compete at the highest level. I mean, you look at this venue, it's an incredible venue, perhaps one of the best in Asia, maybe even world football. You know, it's an amazing, amazing arena for these JDT players to go out and play. And it's a chance now for them to test themselves. You know, we know they are dominant in Malaysian football. You mentioned them doing a clean sweep of all the titles in Malaysian football this year. They were unbeaten on the domestic front as well, and they qualified top of their AFC Champions League group, went into the knockout stages of that competition, which is massive for a club like JDT. It's a club that just keeps growing and growing and growing, and now they get this chance to test themselves against one of the big teams in European football in Borussia Dortmund, albeit might not be the full squad that we know Dortmund are capable of putting out, but they still will be playing at a very high level.
I was just about to point that out. The challenge is slightly different from the fixture in 2015. Bear in mind that some of the names on the score sheet that night are some iconic names: Ilkay Gundogan, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and some of these names have moved on. And this particular fixture this time around features a rather youthful Dortmund side. We understand, because almost 11 to 12 players are away at the World Cup at the moment, and this is an opportunity for Edin Terzic to sort of have a closer look at the younger boys. But that does not mean this is by any chance an easier opposition, because we saw the quality of football that was played against Lion City Sailors a few days back.
You still expect a European level of football in terms of the pace of the game and the quality of these players. And don't forget, you talk about young players, what the young players want to do. They want to impress the coaches, they want to move on, they want to go towards the senior team and start playing first team football. And this is an opportunity for those young players from Borussia Dortmund to do exactly that. You're right in front of a coach. Yes, you know, Edin Terzic has been at Dortmund for years and years, has gone through the ranks, he will know a lot of these younger players, but it's still different going away as part of a first team, going out to Southeast Asia, going out into these environments, meeting the fans, seeing what it's like football here in these conditions, in these arenas. So it's going to be still a high level of football that you expect from this Borussia Dortmund side, and it was evident against the Lion City Sailors. The Sailors, which are Singapore's best local team, just couldn't deal with the pace and the quality that Borussia Dortmund were able to put up in that one.
Well, we'll get to Dortmund in just a bit, but for our international audience listening in, I want to touch a little bit about the star man for Johor Darul Takzim, Bergson Da Silva. I mean, in just over, I think, rather under 2 years at JDT, he's already officially their highest goal scorer in history with 76 goals. I think surpassing a record set by Gonzalo Cabrera prior to this. This year, 46 goals in all competitions. And an absolutely ridiculous number there, Bergson Da Silva.
The numbers are outstanding. and just amazing, Bergson. I mean, what a signing he's been since his arrival from Fortaleza in Brazil, and what an impact he's made on this JDT side. This is going to be one of the fascinating battles to keep an eye on how he does against someone like Mats Hummels in that back line. You know, that is going to be a really, really keenly contested battle. Is Bergson, you know, a big fish in a small pond playing in Malaysian football? Now he's up against, you know, a player who's a world champion who plays at the top level back home in Germany with Dortmund. So this is going to be a really nice battle to keep an eye on. Lots of these little subplots, I think, as well with Arif Aiman, a player that we were talking about earlier that you mentioned, a very talented young man. It's a chance for him to sort of get spotted here, for them to take a look at his ability and his quality at this level.
There was some cheeky calls from JDT fans for Bergson to be called up by Tite to the World Cup squad given his goal-scoring numbers. But consolation, today he does get to go up against a World Cup winner, against an incredibly experienced defender in the form of Mats Hummels. I want to come to Borussia Dortmund now. There's a number of really young, exciting players coming through the club. I know in terms of their first team squad, it's incredibly talented as well. A lot of them are at the World Cup at the moment. But in terms of the young players coming through the ranks, for me personally, there's Jaden Braaf, who's exceptionally exciting from Man City. But you were at the Lion City games, Lion City Sailors fixture a couple of days back, and you know a lot of the young players part of this Borussia Dortmund team. Which one in the starting 11 today excites you the most?
Well, I'm looking at Jinma, and he's leggy. He glides along the pitch, and he's a player who can cause lots of problems with the pace of his running and his intelligence of his movement as well. You know, he might be given a little bit of freedom. Maybe he starts out on the flank, but he'll be given that license to just move in field to try and link up with the likes of Pasalic, who was very energetic in central midfield in that last game against the Lion City Sailors as well. Jaden Braaf, you know, you've mentioned him as well already. He's another one to sort of keep an eye out on. And Koulibaly, I think, at the back alongside Mats Hummels. He's a big talent, Koulibaly. You know, they brought him in from PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, and he's using Borussia Dortmund to get that opportunity to come in and play first-team football, come in and play senior football. And he's one of those rare players in the world game. He's a left-footed central defender, which is a commodity in the world game. So he gives them that sort of balance. And these are a few of the guys that you should be keeping an eye on in this Borussia Dortmund lineup.
There's two names in the lineup, two names that must have felt slightly frustrated by the fact that they ended up not going to the World Cup. One of them, Emre Can, candidly spoke about it in an interview with Astro yesterday, where he revealed that he just wasn't good enough, and that he accepted and he knew for a fact that he did not deserve to go to the World Cup. Daniel Marlin was another one. I think he spoke after the Lion City Sailors fixture, where he said that it's obviously quite frustrating that he's not in Qatar at the moment when everyone is focusing on that tournament. But also these fixtures away from Germany is an opportunity for them to sort of push themselves back into momentum, to try and not just help Dortmund as soon as the Bundesliga season resumes, but to also sort of remind their national team coaches that, hey, we still exist and we're still here.
Yeah, look, it's you're here now, you're part of the squad, and you mentioned Marlon and Chan would have liked to be, maybe even Hummels would have liked to be a part of their respective national sides playing at a World Cup, and that's where you want to be, at the highest stage, at the highest level. It wasn't the case for those players. They're here now, and they have to, not just play a role for themselves to want to try and impress and continue on that slope to sort of get their fitness levels up for the resumption of the domestic league, but also to help the younger players in the squad and to sort of lead them on and to try and give that experience to those younger players and try and help them grow and develop as well on this tour. And for Marlon, I think it's especially important for him because he was essentially, I would say, kind of brought in as Jadon Sancho's replacement in a sense, right? And it hasn't quite worked out for him on that front. He had a slow start to the campaign last year. It took him a bit of time to get going, and even in this season's campaign, it's a little bit tough. He's only got that 1 assist in 10 appearances. So it's been a bit of a challenge for Marlon, who in the Eredivisie was one of the better players in that league. So it's been of a adaptation period for him, and it's something that hopefully Dortmund and himself will be hoping that it's able to go on a little bit more smoothly as the next weeks and months go by.
Just over a year ago, I think Daniel Marlin was one of the bright sparks of Netherlands Euro 2020 campaign. Just goes to show how things can change very quickly in the world of football. One of the key battles to look out for in on the pitch rather, in this particular fixture is the one that's happening in the middle of the park. You've got Emre Can for Borussia Dortmund, but he's up against Afik Fazail, who is one of the most underrated footballers in this region. He's just super calm, super composed. We've seen him against the AFC Champions League quality level players as well, and he's always held his own. How do you see that? How do you foresee that battle going on?
I am really glad you gave Afik Fazail a mention, you know, because he's been a player who has really caught my eye over the last few years or so, and underrated is absolutely the right word. He's not fancy in what he does, but you can sort of give it to him in tight spaces, and he'll take care of it, and he knows how to dictate the tempo of the play for JDT. And again, just like with Arif Aiman, you know, who will look at this as an opportunity to try and impress against a European side, I think it's the same for Afik Fazail. You always want to show how good you are. You know, as a professional footballer, you always want to go out there and show everyone just what you can do.
I was about to put you on the spot there, Roshan, and ask you that, say that you're working for JDT, or rather you're an independent football scout, and today Dortmund have come up to you and asked you, who are the JDT players that we need to keep an eye on in this particular fixture? If you had to pick two names, who would those two names be?
Oh, Arif Aiman for sure is name number one on top of the list. Easy. That's an easy decision, and that's an easy recommendation to make. I mean, this young man, the numbers that he's been putting up, you know, there's often a criticism of younger players that, yeah, they look fancy, they look brave when they play, and they go out and express themselves, but the numbers are not quite there. But he has been putting out extraordinary numbers in terms of chance creation. You know, 16 assists, I think, in all competitions for Arif this season for JDT. So he would definitely be a name that I'd say to Dortmund to keep an eye out on. And I think Afik Fazail is another one who's nice and tidy. Not saying that, you know, he's going to displace any of the current players in Dortmund's roster, but I think he's got that quality in those positions to impress and you know, to take care of himself in the center of the park.
I think you've got JDT and Borussia Dortmund players coming out to the pitch at the moment. You can already feel the sense of excitement within the grounds. Mats Hummels leading the team. You've got Jaden Braaf, Daniel Malen right out at the back. Probably the most exciting player in this team offensively. But JDT as well, we haven't had the time to speak about him, but I'm sure we'll have a lot to mention about Jordi Amat throughout the game. He's another experienced figurehead that will prove pivotal in today's fixture. A big game between Dortmund and Johor Darul Takzim. Mats Hummels leading the team as mentioned. Even he, in an interview with Astro yesterday as well, just briefly mentioned just how exciting it is for him to be back in this part of the world. He says that when you're a professional footballer, you don't get much time away from the sport to sort of explore different parts of the world. And these are opportunities for these pro footballers to come and see different parts of the world and engage different sort of players.
Absolutely right. And it's part and parcel of the advantages and the joys of being a professional footballer.
Tuan Muhammad Yassin, a 30-year-old referee, pretty much experienced in the Malaysian football scene as well. As of 2012, he was a national referee. As of 2020, he's a FIFA accredited referee as well. They've probably got one of the best in the country to officiate this match. Jordi Amat, Bergson Da Silva, Corbin Ong. From JDT's point of view, it's going to be very difficult to sort of get back your mindset into a healthy space 2 days after winning the Malaysia Cup.
Yeah, you wonder if there's going to be a bit of fatigue, a bit of tiredness from having had an outstanding season. You just take a look at this lineup here, setting up in that 3-5-2 it looks like, and there's a lot of quality in this team. You know, there's experience at the back in there. You mentioned Jordi Amat, but Sharul Saad is another one who's a very good player. Farizal, we know of his qualities. I'm interested to see how this young man Feroz does in central defense, you know, up against the likes of Daniel Malen and Pasalic and Gurpros bursting forward from those midfield positions. Bergson and Hong Wan. Hong Wan's another one that I think you know, deserves a bit of a mention. He has that pedigree of having come through at Wolves under 21. And also Hector Bedoglio. I mean, the man has done a pretty good job since he's come in the middle of the year for JDT, hasn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. This is JDT starting 11 as well. Daniel Malen and Justin Jinma up front. You got Marco Pasalic, Jaden Braaf on the flanks. At the heart of that defense is Sumaila Koulibaly and Mats Hummels. Nico Schulz as well, another one that's looking to get a bit more extra game time to try and be a bit more in form before the Bundesliga season resumes. We are approaching kickoff time here at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium, where fans are still packing into the stadium at the moment. There you go, it's kickoff for the international club, a friendly fixture between Johor Darul Takzim and Borussia Dortmund. JDT will be attacking from the left to the right of your screens in that classic blue kit. Got early indications here. Daniel Marlin trying to get himself involved, but Afiq Fazail has recovered possession for JDT. It's Corbin Ong finding Afiq Fazail again. Backwards towards Feroz, young defender who has been allowed to play in the starting 11 today. Got Bogdan Gulbus trying to find Justin Jinma up front. Daniel Marlin rather. The ball goes out for the first corner kick. It's not even been a minute yet, but we've got the first corner kick of the match.
Well, this is what you can expect to see from Borussia Dortmund this evening. That intensity of their play. They want to put JDT under pressure very early on, and they have.
Marlin on the flanks at the moment, trying to find space up against Corbin Ong into the box. Affected by Feroz. Now here Hongwan putting pressure. Daniel Marlin up against Shafiq Ahmad. He's an absolute workhorse with the ability to play anywhere across the front three. Hongwan recovers possession for JDT. Misplaces there. Collected by Jaden Braff, who's moving up front. He's got Jinma ahead of him. Loses possession. Now Feroz will try to find Nazmi Faiz. Ball goes back to Justin Jinma. Tries to combine with Jaden Braff. Pressure from Jordi Ahmad. Referee blows for a free kick. It's looking a bit shaky for JDT in the early minutes here.
Well, you see that the tempo of play, and that's what we expected from Borussia Dortmund, despite all those changes to the lineup, in spite of the fact that they've got younger players in this squad. You still expect to see that European level of play, that high intensity, that high tempo. The moment they lose it, they want to counter press and win it back quickly, and that's why JDT at the moment are struggling a little bit when they win it to try and play out.
Opportunity, Pasalic and Daniel Marlin on the ball. Got a number of options. It's Marlin straight, hits the post. That was a sweet attempt from Daniel Marlin, and I think Farizal might have got a touch to it.
Farizal just pushes it on to the crossbar. It's an effort from Marlin. Got that dip at a really good time as well. And he caused issues for Farizal.
Time around easier for JDT to try and deal with. Borussia Silva not exactly getting the cleanest clearance. Corbin Ong putting pressure on Nico Schulz. Emre Can here trying to play through Justin Jinma. First side of action for Leon Semic. Emre Can. Semic again. Schultz, through ball towards Daniel Marlin, was intercepted by Sharul Saad. Jaden Braff combining well into the box. Yet another clearance this time around from Feroz. Another one of those bright young talents coming through the JDT youth ranks at the moment. Bergson da Silva dropping deep to help out the team defensively. Here's Daniel Marlin, Jaden Braff into the box. Vital tackle from Jordi Ahmad. Yet another corner kick.
Having to come across quickly, Jordi Ahmad there. His defense was in trouble. Again, this is yellow shirts all over here. JDT just still trying to get to grips with the pace of the game.
Pasalic into the box, headed away by Bergson. Regain possession. It's back to Pasalic down at the left. He's got Braff to combine with, but Pasalic is going all the way into the box. Just couldn't find a yellow shirt in the 6-yard area. It goes all out for a JDT throw-in.
That's Pasalic, as I mentioned, the player to keep an eye on this evening. Very direct and full of energy. Just couldn't quite find another teammate with that cross. I'm going to say it was a cross. I think it was an attempt at goal from Pasalic.
It's Farizal under pressure now from Daniel Marlon. Exactly fine. Arif Aiman down that right. We haven't exactly seen him touch the ball just yet. JDT's brightest spark, Arif Aiman.
We haven't quite seen JDT really cross the halfway line. It's still very early days in this game, but already you just see that intensity that Dortmund are playing at.
Max Hummels with one of those iconic quarterback type passes. Trying to find Nico Schultz. Graf, Emre Can slips it towards Koulibaly, Hummels.
He's just so classy on the ball, isn't he, Mats Hummels? And when you've got that central defender who's so good in possession and knows how to pick out passes and has the technical quality to find targets further forward, it's a big positive for your side.
It's an absolute joy to watch at times a player of his quality. Alex Meyer, here's Mats Hummels, the man that every JDT fan was talking about prior to the game as well. A real source of excitement about tonight's fixture. Fine at Daniel Marlon. Once again combining with Marlon, but this time around exactly get a clean connection towards the ball. Easy for Farizal at the end.
Nice exchange of passes here between Gurpers and Daniel Marlon. Just a little gap opening up for him to toe poke it towards goal. An issue for Farizal, it looks like.
He's holding his knee. Hopefully it isn't too serious. But it's been a long season though. Farizal is one of those ever-present characters in this JDT team. Not just this season, but in the context of the years of domination that the JDT have had. This season, I think he's been involved in 35 matches in all competition. It's been a long season. The boys of Streets as well out.
Incredible support, incredible group of fans, and they're creating a really good atmosphere, environment here at this venue. Farizal Marlias as well, you mentioned 35 games, exactly spring chicken anymore, 36 years of age.
Exactly. Widely regarded as still one of the best goalkeepers in Malaysia. At the age of 36, Farizal playing it long towards Da Silva. Actually, some against Leon Semic. For Borussia Dortmund, Hummels. It's all far too comfortable for Borussia Dortmund so far. Alex Meyer. For Schultz. Koulibaly. Here's Emre Can. Bit of a combination inside the box there, but it goes out for a corner kick.
Yeah, it's good work, really good work. And they play out from the pressure there. And JDT, you can see with the way that they have set themselves up in that 3-5-2. They got three in the midfield, I think Fazail, Hongwan and Nazmi Faiz. It's essentially a 3 against 3. Gurpush, Pasalic and Chan in those central positions. So they can go man for man.
Vicious box into cleared away by the JDT defense. Help out the team defensively. It's a flick towards Emre Can, a bit too heavy from Nico Schultz. Here's another one, Nico. Consistently in and out of the team, hasn't been able to sort of hold on to that left back position of Borussia Dortmund this season.
It's been tough for Schultz as well. Move over to Dortmund, and he's becoming a part of the squad rather than qualified first team member, probably starting 11 consistently, but he's full of energy down the left, still has good quality, always a willing runner in that position, get forward and support the attacks.
Semic down the right. He's got Goktan Group, who's one of the highly rated midfielders within the ranks of Borussia Dortmund. The that Lars Ricken is a big fan of him. Switching it over to Nico Schultz. Daniel Marlin inside the box. This is blocked by Sharul Saad. There's Nazmi Faiz. Dangerous territory. Sharul Saad now on the ball for JDT. Loses possession. Jaden Braff. Here's Daniel Marlin. Trying to work his way into the box. Goktan Gurpus. Still Goktan trying to combine there. Daniel Marlin now! Saved, and there you go. Borussia Dortmund opened the scoring. It's Justin Jinma making it 1-0 for Borussia Dortmund within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's a goal they deserve, Dortmund. It's been all Borussia Dortmund. And once again, just the pace that they're playing at, so difficult for JDT to deal with. Jinma putting on the end of that rebound as it falls into him. They win it back quickly. Gurpruj is nice and positive in the box. Falls kindly for Malin, who has a shot at goal. Farzal can only push it out to Jinma. But look at those yellow shirts in there. 4 Dortmund players in the penalty area. They're looking to cause all sorts of problems. It's been a lively start, and it's a goal that is well deserved.
It all looked far too easy for Borussia Dortmund inside that box. Goktan Gurpus combining with Daniel Marlin before Justin Jinma putting the finishing touches to put Borussia Dortmund 1-0 up. Dortmund expected a slightly more difficult challenge here, but I think they've broken the deadlock earlier than they did again in the fixture against Lion City Sailors.
It took them half an hour to get the opener against the Lion City Sailors, and then the goals started to flow, especially in the second half. But they were, make no mistake, the dominant side in that game as well. The match was essentially played in the Lion City Sailors half, and so far that's what we've seen in this one. JDT have found it difficult to get on the ball and to really string a few passes together.
We've not seen Arif Aiman get the opportunity to make one of his vintage runs down the flanks yet as well. We've got Goktan Gurpus trying to receive the ball here, but it springs towards Nico Schultz. Gurpus making himself available there. Jaden Braff inside the box. Goes out for yet another corner kick. Jordi Ahmad, Sharul Saad, Feroz, all 3 of them have probably been the most actively involved JDT players so far under so much of pressure.
I think it's important as well. We talk about Dortmund coming out and getting closer to the fans in this part of the world, but it's also important for fans in this part of the world. There's always talk about this player should go to Europe, that player should go to Europe. It's so important for them to see what actually the level is.
It's a bit of a slip there, and Pasalic couldn't exactly get the ball into the box.
Well, of course, what they discussed the moment I talk about the high level, and Pasalic goes on and slips and puts that immediately out of play. Thanks for that.
Not exactly the sort of pitch where you usually find players slipping on as well. JDT have got one of the best pitches in the country. Daniel Marlin with a beautiful flick there. Arif Aiman, just look at how deep he is. Try and help JDT recover possession. Bergson da Silva, Nazmi. It's a misplaced pass, and Dortmund recover possession. That's almost not exactly been tested yet.
Wrong option taken by Nazmi with that pass. Well, that's a lovely pirouette. He should have played it first time in behind to the run of Shafiq Ahmad. He does find him now.
Stand around, Shafiq Ahmad couldn't exactly combine with the Bergson. Afiq Fazai losing the ball towards Jaden Braff, who's been a lively fixture early on. Braff trying to set up Justin Jinma up front. Marlin picks the ball up on the left. It's up against Sharul Saad. Far too easy for Daniel Marlin into the box. Just couldn't finish. Goktan Gurpus just couldn't stretch his leg right at the end of the far post.
We'll have a look at this work by Daniel Marlin. He's got a smile on his face as well, because he's enjoying himself. Have a look at this. A flip-flap, I think it's called. See you later. Sharul, no chance at all. He was given with that. And Marlin was in behind. Lovely bit of skill. A great ball into Gurpus as well. Just needed a touch.
The gulf in quality becomes even more obvious and apparent when you see a player of Sharul Saad's quality, who's widely respected in this region, just being completely bullied over there. Here's Sharul Saad switching the ball over, trying to find Arif Aiman, intercepted by Nico Schultz. Farzal. JDT have been struggling to get their usual free-flowing style of football going. Hector Bidoglio came in with a lot of expectations after replacing Benjamin Mora, who won 9 trophies with JDT. There's a lot to live up to, but so far he's been doing fine. Bidoglio
certainly played his part in all the success that they've had this year with Bidoglio. It's a bit of a surprise to some of us outside observers, and Mora decided he was going to go, or when the news broke anyway.
There's Daniel Marlin into the box. Farzal has got to be careful. Intercepted, Nico Schultz. Binding here, Jaden Braff. Almost ended up in Dortmund having a 2-0 lead. It's another corner kick for Borussia Dortmund.
Well, he certainly had Farzal scrambling. Could have been an own goal here. The last touch coming off Shafiq.
Marlin has been really active in the first 15 minutes so far. Very decent cross punched away by Farzal Malias. Hong Wan. Even the clearances haven't exactly been good from JDT so far. There's Bergson da Silva putting pressure. Finally a bit of a breakthrough for JDT at the moment. Tackle from Koulibaly, completely won the ball there. Beautiful stuff from Koulibaly.
That was an excellent challenge by Koulibaly. Great recovery to help out Chan, who was in a little bit of trouble as Bergson was breaking forward. And he had support Bergson. He probably should have tried to find a teammate in support of him. He was looking to impress. Having not had too many opportunities to do so in this match so far.
There's Mats Hummels. Semic back to Hummels. Chan is an option, but he finds Nico Schultz. Vast majority of Dortmund's attacks have come down that left flank. Daniel Marlin and Jaden Braff consistently interchanging positions. Schultz. There's Henry Chan again. It's really nice to see Daniel Marlin playing the way he has been on this tour. I know the difference in quality obviously plays a part. But for a player that came in with the burden of replacing possibly Jadon Sancho, it's not been easy for him at the club.
No, it hasn't been easy for him at all. And you just get that sense that matches like these, the one he had against Sailors where he scored a couple of goals and was very lively, and here where he looks like he's enjoying himself, can just help give him that lift. I hope to try and give him that spark when they do resume league action.
Arif Aiman, bit of an option down the right. This is Arif Aiman up against Nico Schultz. First opportunity for Arif to try and show what he can do, but he lost a bit of his footing there, and eventually ball goes back to the JDT defenders. That was the first glimpse of Arif Aiman in this match.
And the fans here, they know who the star players are. You know, there was a real sense of excitement. You could hear it get a lot louder when earlier Bergson got on the ball, and then just there with Arif Aiman to try and run in the Dortmund defense.
Right now, it was Henry Chan trying to play Daniel Marlin through. Farzal. Arif Aiman. Here's Shafiq Ahmad racing forward, trying to find Nazmi Faiz. A bit too strong the pass from Nazmi Faiz, or rather Shafiq Ahmad couldn't exactly find the run of Nazmi Faiz.
It's just not quite clicking yet for JDT. It's a little bit better in possession, starting to see some of the ball.
Here's Pasalic. Bit of a miscommunication between Pasalic and Daniel Marlin. Farzal. It's Hong Wan. Came through the youth system at Wolves. Joined JDT last season. not been easy for him either with Nacho ahead of him in the pecking order, but whenever he's been trusted with a role in the starting 11, Hong Wan has always been able to show his true qualities. Here's Bergson down the left. I suspect the offside flag has been raised.
It's an interesting one.
Not exactly sure. Did the ball cross the line?
Got on to play there. It's the assistant referee on the far side who flagged for a throw into BVB.
Towards Koulibaly. The ball towards Jadon Braff, player who has followed the same pathway as Jadon Sancho, joined Dortmund from Manchester City. Still Jadon Braff here, just couldn't quite find Daniel Marlin. Corbin Ong. Fazail under pressure from Nico Schultz. Free kick for JDT.
He did well there, I think, just to get his body in the way. Took a touch, difficult ball to take down, but he did well to do that. And saw that Schultz was just running in behind him, stepped across his run.
Silva once again receiving a pretty decent pass from Jordi Amat, but immediately under pressure, conceding possession back to Borussia Dortmund. Here is Schultz and Richard. Orkan asking for the ball. Yes, Semic. Back to Mats Hummels and Richard. Finding Koulibaly. Schultz up front. Back to Koulibaly. Easy, simple stuff from Dortmund at the moment. Mats Hummels. Pasalic, twisting and turning under pressure from Nazmi Faiz. Back to Mats Hummels. There's Chan again. Orkan. Graf. By Jordi Amat. Sharusad. You can understand the tempo of this match not exactly being high at the moment. One is Dortmund coming for a friendly Asia tour, you could say, JDT being 2 days after winning a competitive cup final. But here's Corbin Ong. Alex Meyer was perfectly positioned to play.
The spirit of, as you mentioned, that friendly Asia tour. Goalkeepers just put it out. Alex Meyer has put it out for JDT player to receive treatment.
Faiz is down on the ground. Hopefully we'll get to see some real exciting names on the bench. There's actually a water break as well.
Yeah, just taking the opportunity to give the players a chance to cool off, get some fluids in. Remember before Borussia Dortmund coming into an environment where it's high humidity, high temperatures, to get adjusted to that.
Especially since they've just come from the early winter days in Germany, and we're going to have another look at the goal that was scored early on. Here's a quick indication here, Roshan.
Yeah, well, it's good work. You see that there, because they're high up as a team. The moment it goes away from Malin, Gurpros is there to win it back, because it's so close together between the lines. They're moving forward together as a unit, so the spaces in between the lines are very tight, and that allows them, as I said earlier, to apply that counter press on JDT, win it back quickly, win it back high up, and that's when you have that chaos and this disorganization at the back there, and that's how they were able to pounce on it and get that goal.
Who has impressed you the most so far in this match?
From this Dortmund side, Braff has looked very lively. So has Marlon in those attacking areas. They've looked sharp. Marlon has, again, as said, looks like he's really having a lot of fun out there. A couple of tricks and flicks.
Simic and Richard back to Rotan Bukush. Mats Hummels, Koulibaly. Simple and easy for Dortmund and Richard. Switching play towards Towards the right where Semic picks it up. Binds with a goal push. Pasalic is a goal push. Semic collects the ball. Races into the box. Exactly, find the right pass towards Jinma, who was, I think, waiting for the pass in the box.
Well, the cutback was on, and that was an excellent challenge by Yodi Ahmad. So important that he stuck a leg out here. After Ferros just gets crowded out by two Dortmund players, it's Semic who takes it off him, looking for that cutback. He would have found a teammate if not for that foot in by Ahmad.
And cross into the box, looking for Hummels, punched away by Farizal. Not exactly a clean clearance, but I think it will go out for a goal kick. The follow-up header from Koulibaly wasn't exactly a powerful one. He's a really, really interesting name. Koulibaly, you mentioned before the game, signed from PSG with a lot of expectations on his shoulders. And Dortmund are known to be a side that are consistently looking for young, talented centre-backs. They let Akanji go, they let Dan Axel, Zagadou go. I know they brought in Niklas Süle. There's also Schlotter back there, but Koulibaly can definitely always push for a spot in the first level.
It's one of those clubs, Dortmund, on the lookout for the next generation of talent that can come through, and they have that history, Borussia Dortmund, of giving young players an opportunity, producing good players who can then go on to take a step up in terms of the league and in terms of the level, and it earns Dortmund quite a bit of money as well in the transfer market, and that is pretty much their model, Borussia Dortmund, and it's a model that they've...
It's an opportunity for Daniel Marlin. Slightly wide off target there, just as we were kind of explaining the model of the club, and Daniel Marlin just goes to show how good he was in those situations.
Just slice through this JDT back line. I mean, you have a look at the movement off the ball and how quickly it's moving. 1- and 2-touch football into the run of Marlin, third man run of Daniel Marlin in behind there. Just pulling a shot wide.
Borussia Dortmund have had 5 attempts so far within 26 minutes. JDT still 0. We've not seen anything from Bergson. We've not seen anything from Shafiq Ahmad yet. Arif Aifman has largely been a pedestrian down the right as well. Alex Meyer. The model that you were mentioning about, I think you can get a very clear indication of it in that defensive partnership alone. You've got an iconic legend in the form of Mats Hummels, who's been at the club for years, left it briefly but then back at the club again. And how much more or what other better opportunities Koulibaly will get to learn than playing alongside the likes of Mats Hummels.
Yeah, that's right, and you know, you got an opportunity to play alongside Emre Can, who played in central defence in that game against the Lion City Sailors of Singapore.
Schultz. Fine, Jaden Braff here. He's got Jinma inside the box. Still Jaden Braff using his trickery. Zola came off his line to clear that one. He's looking really good, Jaden Braff.
He is, he looks confident. And it's this acceleration, the speed of the movement. He just slows down and it goes bang. Touches it past Ferros, accelerates away. And he'll be happy, Ferros, a young man that his experienced goalkeeper. Farizal was there to clear the danger.
Marlin switching in towards Mats Hummels. Finding a push. And Alex Meyer. Bali and Richard. Far too comfortable for Borussia Dortmund in the first 30 minutes. We're edging closer towards the 30th minute mark. Yes, Daniel Marlin now. Jaden Braff has got a bit of space. Sharul Saad is trying to track back. Still Jaden Braff. Rizal, I think, might have gotten a touch there.
Yeah, it looked to me that he might just have gotten a touch. I think a goal kick has been given. Braff did have Njinma making a run towards the far post. Perhaps he could have tried to play a ball into the run of Njinma. I think he perhaps felt that he'd earned the opportunity to take the shot on himself.
The combination between Braff, Jinma and Daniel Marlin has been a real sight to behold in the first 30 minutes of this game. It's been the story of the fixture so far, really.
Well, we've picked up Afik, the number 4 in midfield for JDT, and he's not exactly having the best of games at the moment. Well, to be fair, I'd say the same about all his teammates. He's just been overrun.
There's Justin Chinma now up against. It was Feroz who was cool, calm and collected. Kobinong under pressure. Here's Hongwan. Pressed by Gupush. Feroz clears it away from danger. Throw into Borussia Dortmund. Here's Pasalic. Back towards Hummels. Combination play here. Borussia Dortmund. Marlon! Farizal gets a hand to it. Nico Schultz. Here's Jaden Braff and Marlon again trying to find space. Daniel Marlon 2-0. Easy peasy for Daniel Marlon in that situation. That first attempt did not go in. This time around just opened a bit of space for himself, and instantly Borussia Dortmund have doubled their lead here at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium.
That give and go earlier, that shot from Marlon off his left foot, so much power behind it. Farizal can only just palm it away. Back into another yellow shirt, but this is that give and go at Gurpuz. And it's picked up once more by Schultz into Braff, and then you have all that time and space on the edge of the box, on the top of the area. He's not closed down by any of the JDT players. But that's such precision in the finish from Daniel Marlon. Off the post, no chance for Farizal to keep that one out. Again, you have to say it's another one that Dortmund have deserved.
Domination from Borussia Dortmund, and this is Daniel Marlon's 3rd goal on this tour. He scored a brace against Lion City Sailors. He's opened his account tonight as well. Probably been the best player on the pitch for Borussia Dortmund. Schultz, Emre Can play towards Mats Hummels. Not exactly had much to do defensively today, Hummels. A lot of his work has been just organizing that back line and just picking out passes. Bali. So Schultz, Marlon is slightly deep. Jaden Braff is up front. Bush is making himself available. So is Pasalic, but the ball goes towards Semic down the right. Trying to work his way into the box. Semic, still Semic. Here is Pasalic for Dortmund. Takes the shot. Farizal couldn't exactly make a clean save.
Space had opened up for Pasalic to have a go at goal. He's perhaps trying to catch Farizal out at his near post. And it well covered Farizal. Goes sliding into Feroz as well.
Farizal. Combination with Hongwan. Exactly. Yes, Koulibaly. Nico Schultz to Koulibaly again.
It's tough for JDT as well. You know, you mentioned them coming into this game just a couple of days from that Malaysia Cup win, and it's Malaysia Cup is such a massive tournament. Right? It takes a lot out of you emotionally, physically, and to have had the season that they've had, JDT, the players will be looking forward to a nice little break.
Daniel Marlon here, almost 3-0 there. Justin Jinma with a cheeky back heel off of Daniel Marlon's cross.
Again, it's good work by Marlon. It's too easy for him. This goes past Arif Aiman. I like the nice bit of invention from Jinma. Knew that the angle was against him. Just had to use his creativity and flick it in towards that far post. Flag's gone up for offside.
Exactly sure what the referee is blowing for. But as you mentioned, it's just a couple of days after that Malaysia Cup final. Slightly understandable if the JDT players aren't exactly in the right state of mind to go up against European heavyweights in the form of Borussia Dortmund. There are a number of exciting JDT2 names on the bench that it would be nice to see them come on and try and make an impression. I think Aubameyang's teammate at international level, Levi Madinda, is on the bench, plays for JDT2. There's also Musa Sidibe, who's an exciting player, something that is probably lacking from JDT's performance so far.
There's a clash of heads here, Richan and Afiq Fazail. Both players needing treatment. Those are painful.
Edin Terzic said right after the game against Lion City Sailors that the most important thing was they completed the fixture without injuries. He won't be quite happy looking at the situation here with Emre Can.
Yeah, again, that's always one of the concerns. If you're a first-team coach, if you're a player, you come out on these tours and you don't want to, you want to try and get those fitness levels up, and you want to play a part. You want to be fit enough for the resumption of the league, and if you're a coach, you don't want to lose players on these tours. So it was really important for them to make sure they try and get through all of this unscathed.
Shafiq Ahmad. Pasalic regains possession for Borussia Dortmund. Back with Koulibaly. The first half, it's got less than 10 minutes left in it. Advantage Borussia Dortmund, total domination so far. Nico Schultz, here's a goal push, finding Emre Can, intercepted by Shahrul Saad, but it goes out for a Dortmund throw-in.
What I like about Dortmund, what I've seen from them, is the attitudes have been spot on. It looks like it's going to be a change.
Early substitution here. Afiq Fazail, the guy that we pretty much talked up before the match, is coming off to be replaced by Shafiq Rahim, Malaysian football veteran, one of the most decorated midfielders in the history of Malaysian football, you could argue.
Okay.
Koulibaly, Alex Meyer, back to Mats Hummels. It'll be interesting to see the sort of change that Shafiq Rahim brings to this team. Definitely fresher legs. Push back to Mats Hummels.
They're just taking a precaution there after that knock to the back of his head. I think Fazail, there's really no need to risk any of these players. The season at an end for JDT. Problem with the ball now. Of the required air pressure. Going back to the attitude and application from Terzic's Dortmund players, and I think he'll be pleased with what he's seen in the two matches so far. You know, it can be the case at times where you know you're of a superior level to your opposition, and then your own playing level then just dips and your intensity levels dip in those matches. We haven't seen evidence of that in the games against the Lion City Sailors and in this one against JDT. You know, they're playing at a high tempo.
Bit of a pressure there from Justin Jinma. Farzal just barely got to it in time. Here's Bergson da Silva, not exactly the cleanest of first touch. Emre Can, Pasalic, is Daniel Malen opening up a bit of space. Daniel Malen here. There was a challenge on Daniel Malen from Feroz. It seems like both players are down and hurt at the moment.
Interesting that Farzal's more concerned about Daniel Malen than he is his own teammate Feroz, who's also gone down. As they're coming together, it was a painful one actually for Feroz because he collides with his own goalkeeper. Lovely first touch by Malen. I think if he had actually gone down there, he looked like he was clipped in the heels. If he had actually gone down there, the referee would have had a decision to make there. He's clipped in the heels, but he tries to stay up, tries to keep going. Both those players receiving treatment.
This is the last thing you'd want if you're Edin Terzic. It goes back to what we just spoke about. Daniel Malen is probably one of the most important players in that first team, and it's not going to be fun looking at him down the pitch in pain at the moment.
Especially because Dortmund have had their injury issues, not just this season, but last season as well. And it's a strange one. It's one of those weird things that has just seemed to follow them into this season's campaign. You know, they've had players who have been out injured for large parts. They've had that inability to really put together a fluid team and allow that team to grow together. It's one of those frustrations for Terzic and Dortmund fans this season.
Here's a corner kick for Borussia Dortmund. Pasalic into the box, punched away by Farizal. Is trying to find Kobinong. A bit of a confusion between Kobinong and Shafiq Rahim as to who was going to pick the ball up in that situation. But here's a mistake and a breakthrough for Arif Aiman now. There's a bit of space for Arif Aiman. There you have it. JDT get their goal in this game, and it's down to that boy, Arif Aiman.
That's a wonderful goal from a special talent. And a player that we said, look out for him. And if you're Dortmund as well, maybe you'll consider taking him over for a bit of a training stint. You're going to have to discuss it with that man there in your picture, though. But Arif Aiman, what a run in behind. I mean, the acceleration, the pace, and the power to get behind his Dortmund defense. A mistake from Braff, but there's no hesitation. He knows he's isolated, and he's constantly, as he's running into the box, you have a look at his scanning here. One towards the ball, one towards goal. Sees where the goalkeeper is positioned and knows exactly where he needs to put it. Look at that. Looking always on the lookout. Wonderful awareness, great pace, and then the technical quality to apply the finish when it matters. That is not an easy finish from that angle. It's a tight angle. He gets applause from his coach Bidoglio. That's a wonderful finish and a lovely goal by this really talented young man, Arif Aiman.
16 assists and 8 goals in all competitions for JDT this season. Absolutely ridiculous. The finish from Arif Aiman was the impressive bit. The pace to constantly outrun the tracking back run from Jaden Braff was also quite impressive from Arif Aiman, but it's finally game on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, JDT really haven't had much going for them in this one, and nothing much going forward up till that point. Arif Aiman essentially on his own picks it up, goes all the way through, and suddenly brings JDT into this match, at least on the scoreline.
Well, at least the noise levels at the stadium has increased again. Fans are a bit more excited at the moment after the initial one-way street performance from Borussia Dortmund. Here's Emre Can. Not exactly sure what was up with that pass there from Emre Can.
Maybe he's been affected by that knock to the head as well. Emre Can.
Approaching the half-time mark very soon. It won't be a surprise to see a wholesale of changes for the second half. Did the same thing against the Lions and the Sailors. There's Shafiq Ahmad, Bergson da Silva, finding Kobinong. Back to Jordi Ahmad. A bit more confidence for JDT here at the moment, but a mistake from Jordi Ahmad. Jimna is quite unhappy. Cross into the box at the moment. Shafiq Ahmad. Keep the ball in play. Yes, he did apparently. Here's Bergson da Silva. Bit of skill to open up a bit of space for himself. Goes out for a corner kick to JDT.
Oh, what a lift that goal by Arif Aiman has given to not just the fans here in this venue, but to his side. JDT looking so much better in possession. Have a look at this confidence and skill from Bergson, showing Donyal Marlin whatever he can do. Can match up to it as well. On the flip-flap through the
beautiful
legs.
Through the legs from Bergson da Silva. Put that in the highlights reel.
Could be an addition for him as well, you know, with Dortmund in the struggles in front of goal.
So there's an Alex Meyer, a bit of a mess up there, but I think the whistle has been blown. Fall on Alex Meyer. I mean, Dortmund's problems in front of goal have been well documented, but this chance again here, Roshan.
Yeah, just spilled by Meyer. It was on his shoulder from Bergson. The most convincing defending from Borussia Dortmund. It was a foul. Right call by the referee.
Problems in front of goal has been further exacerbated by the health issues suffered by Sebastian Aller. Anthony Modeste hasn't exactly been in firing form. He's out injured as well at the moment. And here's the ball into the path of Justin Gemma. Goes out for a corner kick, I suspect, again for Borussia Dortmund. How would you rate Gemma's performance so far?
It's been good. He's got himself on the score sheet, which is always positive. As you see, a minimum of 3 minutes to be added on at the end of this first half.
Marlon take this corner kick, flips it into the box. Slightly too heavy. The aim was to find Mats Hummels or Koulibaly, who were making that run into the 6-yard area. Don't be surprised to see Edin Terzic not taking too many risks with the likes of Daniel Marlon, Emre Can. Could be subbed off at halftime for precautionary measures.
You can see Mats Hummels coming off as well. Let's get another 45 minutes under the belt.
Meyer, here's Hummels again. Go Bush. It's Semic. Back to Alex Meyer. Hummels, bit of a mistake there. Arif Ahmad trying to capitalize, couldn't find Bergson. Here's Shahrul Saad. Hongwan. Bergson da Silva. Big challenge from Emre Can on Hongwan. Free kick for JDT.
Just left the leg in there, Emre Can. From Hongwan.
Get an unlikely equalizer here from JDT. That would spice things up.
In set-piece situations always give you an opportunity to try and create a few issues for the opposition defense. You put quality into the box. Quality into the box. Is Bergson setting himself up for a shot at goal? He's looking straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah. We have seen him score from outrageous distances. Forestieri is usually the one taking free kicks. He's not on the pitch. There's Bergson straight towards the goal. Audacious stuff from Bergson da Silva, but you wouldn't put it past him.
No, I mean, he had his eyes on the goal already. As he was setting himself up to hit that, he was already looking at the position of the goalkeeper, where he was looking to try and hit that one towards. He's looking for the top corner on the far side of the goal. Interesting technique as well. Had a bit of dip, a bit of swerve on the ball. Quite enough to trouble Maya.
Fans have had a lot of fun watching Bergson da Silva this year. Shafiq Rahim setting up Arif Ayman up against Nico Schultz. Here's Shafiq Rahim inside the box for JDT. Chan got a lick in there, goes out for another corner kick. JDT are looking a little excited in the last few minutes of injury time here.
Suddenly looking so much better. Lots of confidence in possession. They're actually looking dangerous and likely to get that equalizer we're talking about. As Nazmi gets set to deliver this.
To the box. Motion over there. Here's Justin Gemma. Moving on. Keep the ball in play. There you have it. The referee has blown the whistle to indicate half-time here, with Borussia Dortmund having a slender 2-1 lead. It was total domination from Borussia Dortmund, by the way. Justin Gemma opening the scoreline before Daniel Marlon made it 2-0, but a defensive mistake that allowed Arif Ayman to pull one back for JDT. And as it stands, it's Borussia Dortmund 2, Johor Taksim 1. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back after this.
The jungle is an unforgiving place. It rewards those with pioneering spirit that has seen us rise above the competition. Our desire to win and deliver results when it matters. Our greatest talent is not letting our achievements dampen our desire to hunt for more glory. Welcome to the arena where JDT makes every game a hunt and every victory a testament to our supremacy. This is the ninth, and our appetite for achievement is stronger and greater than ever.
Exhibition match between Johor Takzim and Borussia Dortmund. At halftime, Borussia Dortmund have a slender 2-1 lead, but I suspect the scoreline wouldn't exactly paint what we saw on the pitch, because it was relatively comfortable for Borussia Dortmund, as the first half statistics would indicate as well. 11 attempts, 8 of them on target, 65% ball possession. It was comfortable in the end for Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. I mean, it started the game off at a very good tempo, and you can just see how dominant they were in the opening 45 minutes, bossing the possession, creating lots of chances, lots of good chances as well, high-quality opportunities in that first half.
And we're going to try and take a look at some of the highlights from that first half, because it was quite exhilarating in terms of quality. The likes of Jaden Bruffs very much involved. This was Daniel Marlin, who was incredibly active in that first half, and you pointed out he looked like he was having a lot of fun.
Yeah, he was enjoying himself in that first half, and he came close here with this free kick. Most players would have been expecting him to swing one in for his teammates. He went straight for goal, and Farzal was on hand to push that away onto the crossbar.
This one was Pasalic down the left, and exactly fine, and on-rushing yellow shirt in the 6-yard area. He was the one that was quite active down the right, but in this time he was on the left, opening up a bit of space for himself with those direct runs. And here you go, Daniel Marlin involved again, Gurpush. This one is a bit easy for Farzal.
Yeah, just a 1-2 with Gurpush. Just a toe poke from Daniel Marlin straight down the middle. A simple finish, a simple save from for Farzal. But listen, this is again just a sign of just how dominant Dortmund were and how quick they started this match.
It was that man again, Daniel Malen. This could have very easily been a goal here. And it's all down to the brilliance of Daniel Malen, just getting the better of Shahrozad.
A wonderful bit of skill by Daniel Malen, and he puts it in a very good area. And Gurpus gives that thumbs up to Daniel Malen. Just couldn't quite stretch out enough to apply the finish.
A bit of a defensive mix-up here. Almost resulted in an own goal for JDT there.
Yeah, the last touch coming off Shafiq, just poking it away from Jaden Braff, who was setting up for a shot. But you just have a look here, the chances that have come, the highlights that we're showing you. It's Dortmund after Dortmund after Dortmund opportunity. We're getting closer and closer.
Some of the young names, Justin, Jinma, Daniel Malen, Jaden Braff have all been actively involved. Malen, you could easily argue, was the best player of that first half. I think he might be substituted then, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Terzic is going to take too many chances and risk his players, but they had another opportunity here. There's a link up between Braff and Daniel Malen at halfway. We kind of get a little bit fortunate with how it falls for them, but then the moment they break in behind, the pace of Braff, he's trying to find the far post himself. He had a run in Jinma, decided against using that option, striking a shot wide.
This one was a bit of option for Pasalic there, straight towards Farizal. Usually you'd see Farizal catching that one cleanly, but this time around it...
I need to get it a second time of asking Farizal. He had his angles covered at the near post. Pasalic just trying to give him the eyes, squeeze it in at the near post.
Another highlight reel, another one involving Daniel Malen.
Yeah, this is a nice bit of invention from Jinma. Good bit of movement, attacks that near post, has to move away from goal. Ball's just in behind him, so he has to try and be creative with the finish. Nice touch, lovely work by Daniel Malen. I mean, he skips past Arif Ayman like he isn't even there, and sets it up for Jinma to try and apply the finishing touch, agonizingly wide of goal.
Jinma has been quite active inside that box throughout the first 45 minutes, but we're going to go back down to pitch side with Farah again to try and analyze exactly what happened in that first half between JDT and Dortmund.
Thank you very much, Kish. Now, what a first half it was. We had 3 goals, and I guess there's only one place we can start, and that's with the first goal from Justin Jinma. 11 minutes in, at that point, it was all them, wasn't it? So, well-deserved?
I think, Roshan, when you look at that first goal, I mean, the close control between the players inside that box was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, it was, and again, we talked about this at the time and how Dortmund were close to each other, which allowed them to counter-press, win it back immediately on the edge of JDT's penalty area. And because they were so close to each other, because they were so high up, moving as a team, they could force a mistake, win it back. Okay, yes, the deflection falls kindly to Gurprush, but you need to be there to take advantage of the situations. And Jinma is on hand after laying it off for Malen, who's going for goal. Jinma turns around and says, I'm going to apply the finish here. And it's a nice finish because there's good control in this finish here from Jinma. You know, he doesn't lash out at it. He doesn't try to put too much power behind it. He just says, I'm going to get a touch. I'm going to make sure there's control in there. I'm going to make sure I get it on target. And that's what he does. And he gets his reward for his composure by applying the finishing touch here.
It was the early stages of the game as well, where JDT's defense was just trying to find its footing at that very corner. But as soon as that goal was scored, it was very clear that it was going to be one-way street for Borussia Dortmund. So I think it was pretty much well-deserved for Borussia Dortmund, that early goal.
Well-deserved. Well, about 20 minutes later, Daniel Malen then got on the score sheet again to double the lead for the 8-time German champions. Again, at this point of time, guys, it is all Dortmund and incredibly deserved to go 2 goals up.
I mean, Farah, going back to Daniel Malen, I was talking about him with Roshan earlier. He was easily the best player in that first half with the level of involvement. And this time around, this was just a beautiful, beautiful strike.
This was a really good finish by Malen. And we spoke about the importance of playing in these games for Daniel Malen, trying to get those confidence levels up. He scored goals against the Lion City Sailors, scored another very good goal here. It hasn't quite been the best of times for him in a Borussia Dortmund jersey, but he's really expressing himself and he's showing everyone just how good he actually is. I love the control in this finish again, and Dortmund keep this alive. There's good awareness, top of the box. If you give a player of Malen's quality that much time and space, there's a high chance you're going to get punished, and that's exactly what Daniel Malen has done to this JDT side.
As much as Farizal tried to dive in that situation, but the accuracy of that ball just made it extremely difficult for him. That was extremely well deserved for Daniel Malen as well. Beautiful strike.
Now, I feel like Dortmund might have been 2-0 down at this point, but the fans in this venue have not stopped singing since minute 1. And 10 minutes after Daniel Malen doubled the lead for Dortmund, Arif Aiman, the guy who you both have been singing praises about the entirety of that first half, pretty much took one back and took the roof of this place. I don't know about you, but where I was standing from, it was amazing. What about you guys up there?
I think you could hear the noise levels just rocket up as soon as Arif Aiman got that goal. We've been talking a lot about him before the game, during the game as well, and it was so good to not just see his run here, but to also see that finish from Arif Aiman.
This is such a good goal, and Arif, he's a very special talent, isn't he, Arif Aiman? You have a look at this, and he identifies the moment where he can go and apply that pressure on Jaden Braaf and take it off him. Just see here, goes and closes him down on his own. He's up there on his own. Essentially, he's isolated. And the moment he takes it off Braaf, there's only one thing on his mind, which is, I'm going to bear down on goal. I'm going to drive into the penalty area. But as he's doing this, as he's accelerating into the box, he's always aware of where the spaces are. And he has to push it wide here, so the angle is against him. So he knows there's a very small window for him to really hit. And he hits it. And that's a sign of just how good he is. You know, he knows where he needs to go, but then having the technical ability to apply that finish and get it where it needs to be, it just says a lot about the quality he has, that young man.
8 goals, 16 assists in Malaysian football this year, but I suspect Arif Aiman during the season break will be quite proud of the fact that he scored against Dortmund.
All right, you know what, guys? I feel like the first half lived up to all the expectations, and I simply cannot wait for what the second half is going to bring us. So for now, it's back to you guys.
It's going to be interesting to see exactly how Dortmund approach the second half, because I think it goes without saying that we are expecting wholesale changes. It's something that Edin Terzic did in that game against Lion City Sailors. It's generally what these teams try to do in friendly matches on tours across different regions, to try and give more players minutes on the pitch. Mats Hummels, who did not feature against Lion City Sailors, featured this time around in the first 45 minutes. It remains to be seen if he is retained. We're trying to get confirmation at the moment, but there are a number of names on that Dortmund bench that we hope to see. I think for me personally, it will be Felix Passlack. He's so dynamic. He's got all the pace in the world. Who is the one name that you're looking forward to watch?
Well, I look at these Dortmund players coming on, and there's one young man that I think he's got lots of talent. That's Bamba, the number 48. Scored 2 goals against the Lion City Sailors. He gets himself into some very good positions, and he's lively in possession. He loves taking on his defenders. He runs at them. He's very skillful, and he causes all sorts of issues for opposition defenders. German youth international, Bamba, and he seems to be one of those guys who really wants to step up and take these opportunities that are presented to him. They already look like they're ready to get things started. There are about 8 of them, Dortmund players, waiting on the pitch, waiting for the rest of their teammates to join in. We're still waiting for the JDT team to come on as well. This is where, Keish, it's going to get very busy for you. And if I were you, I'd be keeping an eye on the players here, taking note of all the changes that are about to happen.
Yeah, it's forgive me if I'm going to struggle to identify some of these Dortmund players with all the wholesale changes that are going to happen. But you're looking at some of the faces of Johor Darul Takzim fans who have had an incredible 2022. And I bet you, Roshan, a lot of these people in the stadium at the moment, 2 days ago, were probably in Kuala Lumpur, braving through the Bukit Jalil traffic to go and support their team. I know these guys were definitely there, the boys of Straits, loud and proud that night in Bukit Jalil. And it just feels like today is like an occasion to sort of wrap up what has been a glorious, glorious season for JDT.
Yeah, and I think it's a way for the players here to kind of just end things on a nice note, you know, say goodbye to the fans for the year. A nice little thank you, both sides, you know, showing some appreciation for each other. But the supporters who have come out here this evening as well, you know, we spoke to a few of them earlier on, and they were really excited at getting the opportunity to see Borussia Dortmund here in Johor, and some of them were even backing JDT to get a result, which is really nice to see. You know, I mean, they believe in the quality of their own team. They know what this JDT side is capable of, and for the majority of the first half, we didn't really see that. But towards the end of the opening 45 minutes, we started to see JDT come out of their shell and starting to cause a few issues for Borussia Dortmund.
I think the one clear change is there's a shift for JDT. Akia Rashid, I see him on the pitch from distance. We're just trying to wait and see if we can get more details in terms of who are the Dortmund players or the Dortmund changes that have been made. It's pretty clear that Mats Hummels is no longer on the pitch.
Yeah, I think he's been replaced by Papadopoulos.
Yeah, Koulibaly appears to still be there. And I think Saleh Oskan has been brought on. He's another one, a really, really good player.
Saleh Oskan coming on for Emre Can. So
forward here at the moment, a bit of an opportunity for Dortmund up against Corbin Ong.
And we're seeing Rykov coming into the side as well. Daniel Malin, as we expected, has come off the pitch. Rykov, a 17-year-old who scored against the Lion City Sailors the last time out. He's the kind of player, Rykov, Julian Rykov, number 40, who tends to occupy spaces in the penalty area. Poacher, fox in the box kind of player in those positions.
With all these changes, I'm pretty sure the dynamic of the team will also change. It'll be interesting to see which player occupies which zones on the pitch. We've got Koulibaly here.
That's right, Brzezinski, the number 57, looks to have also come on for Jaden Braff. He's a big presence up front for them. Bamba coming on for Njinma.
Papadopoulos pumping the ball up front. Bamba here into the box. Cleared away by Sharul Saad. Early indications already from Bamba.
That's what you can expect from Bamba. As I said, very lively, nice and direct.
Yes, Bamba, I suspect, is going to be a real menace down this flank. Okay, Rashid got the better of him in that situation. Bit of a mistake from Akia. Space opening up for Brzezinski. Oskan from Sharul Saad. Bueno is also on.
It's fresh legs in midfield. Fresh legs all around, but fresh legs in the engine room with Oskan and Ostjan. Got Pasalic, who's come off as well to be replaced by Polman. Another energetic presence in the midfield.
Cross into the box. Evaded every single Borussia Dortmund shirt. Papadopoulos. Another one knocking on the door for Borussia Dortmund.
Whipped in with good pace and in a very good position as well. Papadopoulos frustrated with himself that he wasn't able to get a touch on that delivery.
A bit more aggression this time around from Borussia Dortmund. Really interested to see the performance of Saleh Oskan. Brought in with a lot of expectations on his shoulders. It's a position that Dortmund have quite struggled in for a number of years now. Axel Witsel left the club in the summer, and Oskan is widely regarded as the individual to hold on to that role for the next few years. Obviously, he doesn't have his regular partner, Jude Bellingham, alongside him. Okay, Rashid. Another one of those JDT wonder kids came on to replace Bergson da Silva.
Koulibaly's just gone down, and Oskan is not happy with the referee at all. He was having a go at the referee as Koulibaly went down feeling an injury. It's been a follow-through. Looked like a pretty good tackle from Hong Wan. Happened in front of the referee as he goes in aggressively. He takes the ball off Koulibaly, and then the connection is on the follow-through from Koulibaly on Hongwan. I don't think the referee did too much wrong there. I think that's the message he's sending to Özcan. But again, if you're Edin Terzic, you look at this and it's always concerning. You don't want to have any injuries on these tours. Hopefully Koulibaly will be all right. It does look like he's going to be able to carry on. Nothing that would really have hurt him too much. Doglio, interesting halftime team talk as well for him. Doesn't look like he's made too many changes with the side coming out into the second half.
The decision to remove Bergson is a big one, given the amount of goal threat he offers up front. But I suppose the goal of the game today is to give as many players opportunities. I'd like to see Musa Sidibe for once. He's a really, really exciting player, plays for JDT2, has got a bit of a spark about the way he plays on the pitch, makes unpredictable moves. And a lot of fans assumed that he was signed for the main squad, but he was largely allowed to play JDT2 for this 2022 season. Hopefully we get a glimpse of him today.
Yeah, I quite would like to see Ramadan, number 17 for JDT, also get an opportunity. A young player, he's been in and around first team setup, part of the first team setup, I should say.
Losing the ball there, Hongwan. Fine, Arif Aiman has been upset with Hongwan's decision to not find Shahrul Saad instead. It's Bueno. Back to Koulibaly. There's Papadopoulos. Bringing it forward towards Bamba. Now there's a bit of an opportunity for Semic down the right here. So much of space for him to cross into. Feroz gets a lick on it. Now Corbinong under pressure. Akia Rashid. Dortmund regain possession. Here's Rukov trying to find a bit of space inside the box. Shafiq Brahim. Corbinong will keep it in play. Sprays the ball forward towards Papadopoulos. Here's Koulibaly. He's putting a bit of pressure on him. Boys, the straights are absolutely bouncing.
Yeah, really good atmosphere here, Sultan Ibrahim Stadium. And Dortmund have started off this second half the same way. They began the match, dominating JDT right from the first whistle. Koulibaly just stepping in, take it off Arif. Once again, the away side back in possession. Nice and comfortable. They find a pass into Özcan, who's got having space to turn on it in behind JDT's midfield.
Here's Özcan. Papadopoulos. Bringing forward towards Bamba. Intercepted by Shafiq Ahmad. Here's Shafiq Ryan playing Arif Aiman through. He's got a bit of space, but he's up against Koulibaly. He needs a bit of support, Arif Aiman. Back towards Shahrul Saad. Jordi Ahmad finds Feroz. It's Corbinong to Farizal Marlias.
Well, he just had to hold it up there, Arif Aiman. But you can see Dortmund, how many bodies, how many shirts they got around him quickly the moment the ball was played into him by Shafiq Rahim.
First goal must have sent a bit of a warning. Free kick for JDT now. Looking a bit more comfortable in the second half, JDT, after all the changes that Dortmund have made. Here's Akia Rashid down the left. Finding Nasbi Faiz, Corbinong. Finding with Akia Rashid. He's really good in these tight spaces at times.
He's one of those players, Akia. I think he'd be a nightmare on the futsal courts, just with how good he is at keeping close control. Let's have a go. Look at this. Spins away, wins a free kick in a good position for JDT.
If I'm building a five-a-side team, Arkia is easily one of the first names on that list. Free kick for JDT, Shafiq Rahim and Nazmi. Suspect the likes of Corbinong, Jordi Ahmad and Sharul Saad will be main targets. Decent ball into the box. Saleh Oshan heads it away for a corner kick to JDT.
That's a really important header by Oshan. He had to make sure he got something on that to get it away. There were three players, three JDT players looking to attack that delivery. Jordi Ahmad head in his hands. He knows that was a pretty good ball.
Well, in the end, for the Dortmund goalkeeper who tries to launch a swift counter-attack, Coleman, but instead it goes back to Koulibaly. Papadopoulos. Here's Semic looking forward. Here's Bamba now, instantly under pressure from Corbinong. Bamba back towards Papadopoulos. Oshan collects. Looking for options at the moment, Oshan. Tries to find Coleman at the front. It's a bit of a run from Bueno, cross into the box, blocked by Hongwan.
He's able to match Bueno's stride there, Hongwan. Keeping pace with the attacking fullback. He's very energetic, Bueno. Another one who, like Schultz, loves to get forward and support the attack.
Really does feel like the game is opening up a bit more. 10 minutes into the second half. Cross into the box. Punched away by Farizal. Oskan hits it into play. Here is Saleh Oshan. Under pressure. Papadopoulos. Whistle is blown for a free kick. JDT. How would you rate Feroz's performances so far? Because he was the one that everyone was watching on the team sheet.
There were times in that first half where he looked a little bit flustered, which is completely understandable. You know, coming up against a side like Borussia Dortmund, never easy, and found it a little bit difficult to deal with the pace that was coming at him. But something he will learn from, go on and develop and try and improve in his game.
He's getting a bit aggressive on the pitch now, Roshan.
Yeah.
Just saw two back-to-back challenges from Semic and I think Papadopoulos.
The referee could take his pick really, which one he wanted to pull up for a foul, for a free kick. Decided to just see if there would be any advantage for JDT on the crew.
Papadopoulos is shown the yellow card for the challenge earlier. This one, I suppose, on Shafiq Ahmad. Bit of a dangerous one.
And that was the challenger. A boot into the ribs of Shafiq. Painful one for Shafiq Ahmad. And the second one on Corbinong. It's good to see Shafiq is back up on his feet.
He's another one of those players that whether he plays for JDT, whether he plays for the national team, every single time you watch him, I think you get exhausted at the sight of him running at times because he's just everywhere, constantly moving.
He's one of those forwards who gives absolutely everything, incredibly high work rate.
Shafiq into the box, trying to find Shafiq Ahmad, in fact. Just couldn't get his header on target in that situation. Beautiful ball from Shafiq.
Very good quality on this delivery. Might have just been offside, might have just gone a little bit too early. Flag looked like it stayed down anyway. I was just going to say before this, talking about Shafiq Ahmad and his high work rate and how he works his socks off for the teams that he plays for. But his goal scoring numbers just not quite up there. But I guess he's not that kind of attacker. And perhaps he should have done better with that finish on the header. Completely mistimed it.
It's Pullman bringing the ball up front for Borussia Dortmund up against Hongwan. Here's Shafiq Rahim also putting pressure. Goes back towards Oskan. Here is Semic for Dortmund. Papadopoulos. Goes straight right up front. Definer. Pullman. There's Cross card opportunity for Dortmund. Pohlmann makes it 3-1 for Borussia Dortmund. Another one of those unassuming moves, unassuming sequence of passes from Borussia Dortmund. And all of a sudden they find themselves inside the box and boom, it's 3-1.
Slick football from the away side, and this is, I love the composure here from Pohlmann. Yeah, they win it back, they lose it, but they win it back quickly. Penetrate in behind Pohlmann, exploiting that gap between Feroz and Charol. And he just sits the goalkeeper down. He doesn't rush his finish. He just says, I've got all the time in the world. Neat reverse ball by Brzezinski. Wonderful awareness to play that pass. Sits the defender down, goes sliding in, uses that momentum against Charol. And then that's a nice clipped finish over Farzad.
The pass from Brzezinski as well was a really, really good one prior to that. Seems like a real fine play up front. But 3-1 for Borussia Dortmund. They've got their 2-goal advantage back again. But it does feel like the second half is a lot more open than the one that we saw in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. And you've gotten your wish, Kish. You wanted to see Paslak. He's just come on.
Arif Aiman making another one of those dangerous runs. Arif Aiman almost making it 2 for JDT. It always goes back to Arif Aiman.
Almost an identical sort of finish as well. He drives through. That's nice and aggressive, quick feet there to get away from Ozcan. And it shifts it from right to left, and that space in midfield opens up for him to push into. Tracks the shot wide of goal.
He's got this incredible ability to sprint with the ball and keeping it very close to his feet. Almost sometimes suspect that he's got magnets inside his boots. But here's Ake Rashid down the left. Bring up a bit of space for himself. Is Corbinong. Still JDT here. Neat sequence of passes. Jordi Amat finds Safiq Rahim. Nazmi Faiz. Beautiful ball by Hongwan. Rogers, here's an opportunity. Still Arif Aiman. This time around, Dortmund just put 3 players on him. Papadopoulos. Here's Brzezinski now. Beautiful tackle from Feroz.
Good challenge by Feroz. I think he wasn't quite sure if it did go out of play, whether it was going to be a goal kick. Took no chances. Slows down here thinking, okay, it's going to be a goal kick. And then he thinks again, or maybe not.
There's another JDT breakaway at the moment. Space for Ake Rashid. He's one-on-one. Ake Rashid! How has he missed that?
Big moment for JDT. The timing of the run and that pass from Nazmi, superb. Just have a look at this from Nazmi. And that interchange of positions. Akia moving in field, driving inside. What a save by Alex Maya. Gets a touch on that. But the timing of the pass from Nazmi is perfect. Such a good angle as well for Akia. He's essentially going straight down the middle. He can go to the goalkeeper's left, he can go to the goalkeeper's right. He goes down the middle, and it's an easy enough save for Alex Maya.
That pass from Nazmi Faiz though, absolutely brilliant. Here's Shafiq Rahim. Well, couldn't exactly clear it very cleanly. Bamba now. Pushing it forward. Arif Aiman. Finds Shafiq Ahmad up front. Ball goes out for a goal kick. Still quite mesmerized by that Nazmi Faiz pass earlier.
A good save by Maya. The Nazmi Faiz pass was so well timed. Knew exactly where he needed to put it for Akia. Waiting on it as well.
Brzezinski. Zara comes off his line pretty quickly, finds Jordi Amat. Hongwan uses possession under pressure from Ozcan. Oman. Bueno. Finds Oshan. Finds Oskan. Papadopoulos. Forward with the ball. Fouled by Hong Wan. It's a free kick for Borussia Dortmund in dangerous territory.
It's not the best of challenges put in by Hong Wan. He's well beaten by Polman. Lunges right through him. It's a bad challenge. Still trying to convince the referee that he got something on the ball. Made no contact with it whatsoever.
It appears that Dortmund have also made a number of other changes. We're trying to keep track with all the changes that are coming on because Collins seems to have been brought on to replace
Collins and Paslak have both come on.
Koulibaly
and Semic, players that have been replaced. The only player who started the match, Alex Meyer, he's the only one left.
Is Semic still there? Oh, Semic is gone as well, I suspect that, yeah. Papadopoulos! Slightly over the bar.
Farzal, you'd imagine would have had it well covered. Enough pace on that free kick by Papadopoulos.
Throw in for Borussia Dortmund, Bueno to Papadopoulos. He has switched to the left side of the centre-back partnership. Collins is now occupying that right centre-back position. Oskan picking it up from deep to find Papadopoulos. Putting it towards Bueno. It's Bowman. Finding a bit of space in that middle. Bamba. Back towards Collins. There's Paslak. Against Corbinong. Felix Paslak works his way into the box, trying to find Bamba. Good footwork from Nazmi Faiz to get that ball away. Yes, Arif Aiman. Despite the whistle might be blown, but Dortmund regain possession. Collins. Oskan. Back towards Collins. I'm a bit surprised by JDT not exactly making too many changes today.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, for JDT. And with Dortmund deciding not to really go towards the bench. You know, Dortmund have made wholesale changes. Essentially a new team for the second half. But here they come, perhaps. This is where Bedoglia has decided maybe he's going to start bringing players on.
Sharul Saad goes off. Shami Safari comes on. I think that might indicate a slight change in system, perhaps, because Shami Safari is more of a right back as opposed to a centre back. Perhaps JDT might move to the more common forward back system with Feroz and Jordi Ahmad at the heart of it.
And could go with that system of four at the back, and what that means is it takes away any of that defensive responsibility that Arif Aiman might have had playing as that right wing back in that system of 3-5-2. So you just see Akia picking up another free kick.
Arif Aiman combining with Shami Safari. First bit of involvement for Shami. Here's Shami Safari again. Beautiful stuff from Shafiq Ahmad. But Dortmund regain possession now. Here's Roshinsky. Here, opportunity and space for Bamba. Trying to find a bit of space. Bamba! There you go. 4-1 Borussia Dortmund. No mercy at all from Bamba. And you've been talking about this player all game long, Roshan.
Yeah, I said he was direct. They said he was so brave in possession, and he's only got the goal in his eyes. And he's hungry to make something happen. And just have a look at how quickly he shifts it before he hits this shot towards goal. There, cuts inside, bang, immediately. And there's so much power behind that strike from Bamba that it really, because he's taken it so quickly, it doesn't allow Farzal an opportunity to set and get himself ready for that shot. That's so impressive. This young man, I said he was going to be someone to keep an eye out on, and I'm glad he's not let me down. Good finish as well.
Didn't exactly give anyone in that JDT defense time to process his movement and what he was going to do. It's another drinks break on the pitch to try and give opportunity for these players to hydrate themselves. I know we're playing at night, but you know, temperatures in this part of the world can be pretty punishing for players coming from Europe. But going back to that goal again, I mean, there was barely any time. If you're Farizal, if you're Feroz, there's really no time to try and process exactly what he was going to do, because he's such an unpredictable mover with the ball.
Well, you think in those situations, is he going to go on the inside? Is he going to cut out and go out onto his right foot and try and accelerate towards the byline? And what it also comes down to in these situations is sometimes there's an element of surprise. You know, JDT players might not necessarily know what Bamba's strengths are, where he's good, which is his favorite foot. Does he like to go and cut inside? Does he like to go on the outside? So that also kind of comes into it. You know, in this day and age where there's so much analysis being done in the lead up to matches, and if you're coming into this match where there perhaps hasn't been, which is completely understandable in this case, it's an international friendly in that sense, a club friendly, you might not be certain of exactly what the opposition are going to be doing. And that element of surprise can really affect you. But just the pace at which Bamba went out and did that, you know, I think it would have caught a lot of defenders off guard.
Polman, Bamba, we've got Jinma, Daniel Marlin all on the score sheet today. The one incredible thing about Borussia Dortmund that you know we continue to sing praises about them is the fact that they continue to attract the best young players across the globe. They continue to also produce some of them by themselves, because it's a club that always gives opportunities for the young players.
And that's right, and we're seeing those opportunities, you know, here being given to those players, and I'll come back to that after we've seen this. Could be a promising attack for JDT.
There's an opportunity for Akia Rashid down the left, trying to work his way into finding a bit of space. There's a push from the back, and it's a corner kick for JDT.
I think he was looking for more than just a corner kick, Akia. Wanted a penalty to be given. Got himself in the way. And the difference here is, can you see that with Akia? Just that inability to, the moment he shifts the ball, to accelerate and have that power to accelerate past Lack. Does well enough to win his side a corner.
Shafiq Rahim. Another teasing ball into the box, headed away by the Dortmund defense. Back towards Shafiq Rahim, down that left. He's got Akia as an option. Shafiq Rahim trying to get into the box, and there's one JDT a free kick on the edge of that box. Oskan is laughing at the decision.
Well, Shafiq is a couple of step overs there. It does happen just outside the area. He's used all his experience there, Shafiq, to win the free kick.
I know Nazmi is behind the ball, but surely you'll fancy Shafiq in this sort of situations. He is the primary dead ball specialist. Quick one, he's going to go for goal.
He should. Be disappointed if he didn't.
Shafiq Rahim!
He did.
He was trying to go for that far post.
He was. Yeah, why not? I mean, when you've got that ability to cause a few issues. Ahmad's frustrated. So the players who have gone into the box expecting a cross to come in onto the head of one of them, they've just gone, oh, why did I even bother?
There you have it. Musa Sidibe has been brought on to replace Shafiq Ahmad. One of those exciting names in the ranks of JDT2. We're going to get a glimpse of him. There's Bamba now, working his way past Shafiq Rahim. Felix Paslak up against Corbinong, crosses into the box. Feroz clears it away.
Well, again, you've gotten your wish, Kish, with Sidibe coming on. And this is the thing about That's a free kick that's going to be given to Dortmund. High boot from Akia on Paslak. That's the thing about JDT though, the strength that they have in depth. They've got essentially two teams, two squads.
That was dangerous from Akia Rashid. It's not exactly a surprise that Paslak was refusing the apology from Akia after that. Bamba, who do you fancy here? There's a ball into the box. I think Collins knew it was coming to him.
It's interesting there the way the delivery was put in. So there were a couple of options. Papa, one of those, was whipped in with such pace. Just have caught Collins off guard.
Pressure from Bamba on Corbinong. Play on Hongwan. Finds Jordi Amat. Here's first bit of action for Sidibe. Shami Safari. Sidibe is putting a bit of pressure on Brzezinski. Moving ahead with the ball, such a good ball carrier. Here's Bueno. So a free kick or a corner kick.
Looks like it's going to be a corner. Bueno is annoyed with Feroz for the challenge that he's put in. A clean challenge, according to the referee. Oshan getting himself involved there as well. I like this from Feroz. I really don't mind this. Don't mind this at all. I mean, it's good to see him giving it back a little bit, not being intimidated by these Dortmund players. They're trying to push him around. Well, just have a look at this challenge on Bueno. Gets the ball.
That's a clean challenge.
That's a clean challenge.
Yeah.
Referee points to a corner kick. Goes in, tries to apologize to, well, not apologize because he hasn't done anything wrong, but goes in to try and just help Bueno back up to his feet. Bueno slaps his arm away. And then Oshan gets involved.
12th corner of the match for Borussia Dortmund. Holman floats it into the box. Farizal gets a hand to it. Nazmi Faiz loses possession. It's so difficult for a player of Nazmi Faiz's size going up against Brzezinski and Oshan. Goes into the books here.
They know he's a bit of a hothead. Get under his skin there. Corbinong going in, and this is from JDT's perspective. You know, players coming together, standing up for each other. I mean, that's Oshan. He knows exactly what he's doing in that situation. And you see Corbinong here. That's the first palm out by Farizal.
That was quite cynical, though. $33,000 fans here at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium. An incredible crowd for this international friendly fixture. Though what you've seen in the pitch in the last 2-3 minutes might not exactly indicate that it's been that friendly. But Papadopoulos. Oshan. Slightly mistimed the run from Felix Paslak. Comes out. Flips it towards Shami Safari. Tries to find Sidibe. Papadopoulos. Arif Ayman is operating as the main striker at the moment. Oshan. Solid tackle from Hongwan.
They look like they're after him.
It's getting a bit spicy, isn't it?
Listen, matches like these, you don't mind to seeing that a little bit of that. There's a bit of competitiveness. And that is that professionalism and that pride that comes into it. You know, Dortmund, yeah, they're 4-1 up, but still not wanting to give anything away. JDT the same, 4-1 down, but they're still looking to try and fight.
That's Collins finding Bamba. Neat flick, but one got his leg in there. Again, Oshan is complaining to the referee. He's the one.
I wanted the referee to stop it. Bamba had gone down to ground. Wonderful feat by Bamba though.
Papadopoulos back to Oshan. Papadopoulos again floats in long towards Bueno. Scott shot Safari. Bueno into the box. Brushinski. What a first touch from Brushinski. Oscar. Now it's pass like inside the ball. Bamba asking for it. Couldn't exactly get it under control.
A difficult one for him to really do too much with. Bamba into his midriff. The deflection of Kobinon. Whizzed into Bamba.
Marlias finds Shafiq Rahim under pressure. Arif Ayman is asking for the ball, but Nazmi Faiz goes towards Akia Rashid. It's still Akia now for JDT. Completely skied his attempt. We have seen him score from positions like that before. Not this time around though.
Yeah, it did open up for him to have a go. You were thinking perhaps the angle was there for an attempt at trying to curl it in towards the far post. He went for power to drive through the ball. Leaning back as he hit it.
That's JDT's 7th attempt of the match. Just 2 of them have been on target. One of which was Arif Ayman's strike in the first half. Less than 10 minutes left here. Some of these JDT players can definitely be satisfied with the level of performances that they've put on today. Korbinong has been relatively solid at left back. Ayman has got that goal, of course. Pass luck. Musa Sidibe now. Here's a bit of an opportunity for JDT. It's Musa Sidibe. Blocked by Maya.
That's another good save by Maya. JDT have had these 2 very good chances. The first one from Akia saved by Maya. This one from Sidibe. Akia having the better in terms of the angles. That one Sidibe really having to try and bend it in towards that far post.
There's Sidibe again, floats it into the box. Trying to find the on-rushing Jordi Ahmad. Throw in for JDT, Akia Rashid. They'll leave it to Korbinong. Faiman, still Akia Rashid. Here's Brzezinski finding Rishkov. It's just him and Brzezinski now. Great tackle there to stop. He's put in a number of those vital challenges today, Feroz. Sidibe, it's on one. Shafiq Rahim. Oshan. Oskan. Bueno. For JDT.
I was mesmerized by the
singing.
What I'm seeing, yeah, incredible. The atmosphere here is just brilliant. Boys of Straits doing such a wonderful job, bringing the rest of the crowd into it with their chants and their cheers.
They've been absolutely ever present this year. Everywhere JDT have gone, and they've traveled quite a bit this year, including in the AFC Champions League. There's Arif Ayman, Akia Rashid. Khan floats it towards Shinsky up front. Such a difficult player to go up against. Oskan. Going for Pullman here. Long away by Farizal. Still Coleman. Bueno now. Picks it up. Oshan. Back to Bueno. It's Coleman again.
Shot coming in from Polman. They're just trying to catch Farizal off guard at his near post once more. Shaping to shoot, looking to try and curl it towards the other side of the goal before closing his foot at the point of contact. Farizal was up to the challenge. There's a challenge on Hong-Wan in midfield.
As we approach the last 5 minutes of the match, I think both sets of coaches could draw some pretty decent observations and conclusions from this fixture. They're obviously in very different situations. For JDT, this could potentially be the last game of the season before some of them go on holiday, some of them report for national duty. For Dortmund, these are very important periods. They're waiting for Bundesliga to resume. Yes, Sidibe. Given away by Papadopoulos. Corbinong. He's got space down that left. Finds Arif Aiman now. Bit of a free roll for Arif Aiman. Shafiq Rahim finding Akia Rashid. Beautiful ball to find Corbinong. Shafiq Rahim. Asmi Faiz now. Jordi Amat. Here's Shafiq again. It's a bit of a run from Shami Safari. Can he get there in time? No, he can't.
Well, the idea was right. It's a nice spell of possession for JDT. It's moving the ball around comfortably, trying to find a breakthrough in the opening. Space was available to Shami. Needs to get in behind. Shafiq spotted the run. Too much weight on the pass.
There's a big one coming up next for Borussia Dortmund. Probably the most difficult test so far. For that, here's Coleman up against Jordi Amat. Does really well to stand up against him. Amat now plays it towards Arif Aiman. Asmi Faiz back towards Arif. Sidibe picks it up. He's got Oskan keeping an eye on him. Shafiq Rahim now. Corbinong with the overlapping run, but unfortunately that's a disappointing cross from Corbinong.
Yeah, poor cross from Corbinong. Again, another really good flowing move forward. There weren't too many JDT shirts in the penalty area, and the ball did come out to Corbinong, as we see another change for the home side.
I think Adam Norazlin is coming on to replace Feroz at the back. It's a direct switch, but the other name that we saw the sidelines just now was Levi Madinda. Be interesting to see who he replaces. Levi Madinda. I think he's, in the context of Malaysian football, Madinda is widely known not just as a midfield player, but also as the international teammate for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Gabon comes in to replace Hong-Wan. Saleh Oshan. Here's Corbinong again. Asmi Faiz. He finds Arif Aiman. Tries to combine with Akia Rashid. Beautiful stuff. It's still Arif Aiman here. There's a bit too much for him in the end. Involvement for Madinda. Shafiq Rahim, Arif Aiman under pressure from three Dortmund defenders. Still Arif Aiman.
It's just pure joy watching Arif Aiman, isn't it? I mean, he was almost in behind that first opportunity. This one here, the give and go. Might have been tripped up actually there by Bueno. Decides to stay on his feet, Arif, and then the second time that it goes into him, the top of the box, again takes on a couple of defenders. He could have perhaps gone down there. There was contact between him and Bueno.
It'd be fair to suggest that Arif Aiman has been JDT's best player?
Yeah, I think easily he's been their best player. Every time he's been in possession, he's looked a threat. He's looked so comfortable with the ball at his feet, even in tight spaces. Of course, that goal, just pure quality.
Throw in for JDT, Corbinong. Also towards Jordi Amat. Here's Madinda. Sidibe picks it up. Brzezinski, still Sidibe. Bit of footwork. Finds Nazmi Faiz. Crosses into the box. In the end for Alex Maya. A bit of combination between Nazmi and Corbinong down that left, with Arkia sometimes involved as well, has been really nice to see.
Yeah, in the second half, had quite a bit of joy from that side of the pitch. It's Arkia operating on the left, or whether, as we saw with his chance, is drifting inside to link up with Nazmi.
Again, another substitution. This time around, it's skipper Aidil Zafwan. Someone we don't get to see regularly in the starting 11 anymore these days, but nonetheless is such a well-respected character within the JDT dressing room. Someone who obviously has a very high position within the recent history of JDT as an institution as well. He comes on to replace Jordi Amat. Roshan. Safari, Madinda. Zakia Rashid, intercepted by Bamba.
He's going to get the first touch away from him, Zakia. Knowing Bamba an opportunity to poke it away.
There's a bit of combination there. Brzezinski now. He's going in a one-on-one situation. Incredibly, in that situation, he doesn't score. Farizal stops it. I think everyone expected him to square it towards, I think it was Rishkov on the other side.
Yeah, Rykov was just there, and it would have been a simple finish for Rykov if it would have been set up by Brzezinski. I think he's far too casual here. Nice return ball by Bamba. There was all that space to go on and exploit. Farizal makes a good save.
2 minutes into injury time. Just 2 minutes left. I think Edin Terzic will already be thinking about the next one. Right after this fixture, the Dortmund team will head straight to the airport. They're off straight to Hanoi. 2 days from now, they go against the Vietnamese national team, which will probably provide a sterner test. There's an opportunity for Borussia Dortmund. Now Pullman, Farizal yet again comes out. Pullman is down. Seems to be hurt, but a referee waves play on. Sidibe up against Oshan.
It looked like a clean challenge from Farizal. In fact, Pullman's back up on his feet. They're trying to earn a penalty. But there was a clean challenge from Farizal. That game that you mentioned against Vietnam should be an interesting one. You know, Vietnam are perhaps the best side in Southeast Asia, along with Thailand. Those two teams, those two nations.
Preparing for the Mitsubishi Electric Cup as well.
Good test for Vietnam, good test for Dortmund.
We all know what playing in Hanoi in front of a packed crowd at the Maidin Stadium is like. It's one of those venues that can be really, really intimidating at times. Oscar. Back towards Maya. But obviously, as far as we can talk about the Vietnamese game, as far as Edin Terzic is concerned, his mind is completely thinking about next Bundesliga game in the season resumes. Bamba, no space for Bamba here. Madinda, Shafiq Ibrahim, still Madinda. Corbinong now for JDT. He's got a number of options, finds Nazmi Faiz. Tries to pick up Arif Aiman, but Papadopoulos does really well there. And there you go. The referee blows the whistle to indicate full time here at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium. Dominant performance from Borussia Dortmund, particularly in that first half, where they completely dominated proceedings. But in the second half, the game became a lot more open. They did get 2 goals, and in the end, it's been a comfortable result for Borussia Dortmund. After 90 minutes here at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium, with goals from a lot of their youngsters, including Justin Jinma, Daniel Marlin, Polman, every single one of them playing a fundamental part. After 90 minutes, it is Johor Darul Takzim 1, Borussia Dortmund 4. Welcome back to the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium. It's such a comfortable win for Borussia Dortmund. JDT in the end putting up a really strong showing in the second half. And despite a number of crucial chances for Ake Rashid, Arif Aiman, they couldn't exactly get their second goal on the night. Here's the full-time statistics. You could see Borussia Dortmund 16 attempts, 12 of them on target, 4 goals being scored, 58% possession, which is a bit of a reduction. First half it was 65%. Second half, JDT a lot more involved, and they put up a pretty promising performance, especially from Arif Aiman up front. But in the end, it was Borussia Dortmund 4, Johor Darul Takzim 1. Let's look at all 5 goals that were scored today, beginning with the first one that was scored within 10 minutes into the game from Justin Jinma. I mean, the performance from Dortmund, especially in that first 10 minutes, was just really, really smooth, to the point where JDT just couldn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, they couldn't deal with the tempo and the pace that Dortmund started this match with. It was almost came as a bit of a shock and a surprise to JDT. Jinma getting himself into a good position just to apply that finish, show good control, just snatch at this attempt. You know, nice play here. They get a little bit fortunate. Gurpos with the rebound falling into him, and then this second attempt, after this effort from Daniel Marlin was saved by Farizal, was dropping in the path of Jinma. Right position, but he still needs to put that away, and I like that he shows that control behind the finish. You know, he doesn't rush it, just says, I'm going to get it on target, make sure I cause a few issues, and then we'll see what happens. And what happened was it ended up in the back of the net.
And this is the second goal from Daniel Marlin. First shot saved by Farizal, but then he comes on, picks it up again, and this one is a beautiful one, Roshan.
Yeah, he was so good in the first half, Daniel Marlin. Just he really looked like he was having lots of fun, enjoying himself. All the flicks and tricks were coming out. You could see that full repertoire of Daniel Marlin's. At times he would peel out onto the left-hand side. Here he comes in off the right, linking up with Gurpush again. That give and go, that first shot has so much power in it. Farizal can only palm it back out into a yellow shirt. And then for them, Dortmund here, it's about keeping their composure, which they do. Pick out Marlin in acres of space, top of the box, knows exactly where he's going to put it. And that's a very, very precise finish in off the post. in the corners. Very difficult for Farzal. He's got lots of bodies in front of him. You can see him there, just having a look towards his left, and then he has to go quickly onto his right, and he can't keep that one out.
At this point, it was incredibly comfortable for Dortmund until this mistake from Abraf, which allowed Arif Ayman to break. And this run, this finish was just sensational.
Arif deserves so much credit for this goal because it started by him. You know, he's the one who identifies it. There's a potential here to put Jaden Braff under pressure and to force a mistake, and that's what he does. You know, he closes him down. He's alone there, closes him down, picks it out, intercepts that attempted pass by Jaden Braff, and then drives into the area. There's that single-minded determination to want to make something happen from Arif Ayman, and even though the angle is against him, he knows that that window is such a small window for him to hit at the far post. Even as he's accelerating towards goal, he's driving into the box, he knows where he's got to put it, and then to have the technical quality to actually place it there, that's unsavable from Maya, because he's got his angles well covered, but you still have that little bit of gap that he needs to hit, and he's put it down to the player, and the player's responded with a fine finish.
Wholesale changes at halftime for Borussia Dortmund, and it didn't take long for Polman to make it 3-1 to Borussia Dortmund, and this sequence of passes was just incredibly unassuming as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's quick play. This from Brzezinski, I mean, it's a nice, I was going to call it a reverse ball, but it's not really a reverse pass. It's a quick first-time ball into Özkan, and then that defense has been split. Polman taking up an advanced position, and he keeps his composure, you know. The defender's sliding in, he doesn't rush his finish. Feels like he's got all the time in the world. Just sits down Sharul, and then the goalkeeper Farzal, and then lifts it over him and puts that away for a goal for himself.
3-1 to Borussia Dortmund at this point, but of course the party was not over, because there was a fourth one that came not too long after this, and it was the man that you've been talking up all along, Roshan, Bamba. I mean, he was sensational.
Yeah, Samuel Bamba, German youth international, and you can see what he brings to this side. He said he'd be direct, he's quick, he's very brave in possession, and he wants to cause issues for opposition defense. Just have a look at how he shifts it and takes the shot. It doesn't give Farzal an opportunity to really set himself and try and make that save. It's also so difficult for Feroz to deal with as well, because you're not quite sure if he's going to go on the outside, he's going to cut inside, and when he does make the decision here, Bamba, that he's going to cut in here, it's just so fast, so quick, and it happens to at too much pace for JDT to really deal with.
Beautiful, beautiful strike from Bamba to wrap up the 4-1 win. We're going to go back down to Farah by the side of the pitch, Roshan, because unlike us, she's had the privilege of actually enjoying all these goals from the side of the pitch. What was it like, Farah?
Thank you very much. Honestly, it has been incredible so far. Honestly, I can't really hear you guys all that well, but that's a testament to how amazing the fans have been here at the stadium. It has been incredible from start to finish. It might not have been the result that the Southern Tigers were looking for at the end of the day, but I don't think it matters all that much, because at the end of the day, they did do a clean sweep. They had a perfect season, especially domestically, so they won't be too bothered about that. Right now, all the fans who are still here are pretty much enjoying what they're seeing in the stadium. The Dortmund guys are giving a lap of honor. The JDT guys are going around talking to some of the fans, giving their jerseys to some of the fans. So overall, it has been an incredible spectacle from start to finish, on the pitch, off the pitch, and I guess up there as well from you guys. But at the end of the day, now it's time for JDT to have a much-deserved rest while the Dortmund guys make their move over to Vietnam. For now, it's me signing off. It's back to you, Rosh and Kish.
Oh, a well-deserved rest is definitely something that JDT need after an exhausting season in which they completely swept every single trophy available domestically. For Edin Terzic, it's off to Vietnam after this, and then back to the Bundesliga mission. I want to thank everyone that has watched this coverage from wherever you are. It's been an absolute honor for me and Roche to cover this game. Thank you so much, and goodbye.